Hey everybody, it's GauntletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today I have my second Innistrad Midnight Hunt Draft Challenge, the most high-stakes draft format you can get into on Arena. So, in this draft, I think I'm going to start with Dual Craft Trainer. This is a 4-mana 3/3 first strike. When you have Coven, or 3 creatures with different powers, you get to give a creature double strike every turn. So this card can really quickly end games, and it is quite the must-kill threat every time. This card's just been very impressive to me, and I like it quite a bit. I think it is, in general, more powerful than the rare Hero Falconwrath Pitfighter, and the other notable cards in the pack are pretty good as well. Eaten Alive is quite excellent removal. The Flip the Switch, pretty decent counterspell. Chaplain of Alms being just a great rate for what you're getting. Both halves of the card, pretty decent. But Dual Craft Trainer is just a big potential game ender there. So Dual Craft Trainer, pretty excellent ability. And here, the follow-up in pick 2, Karolus, Stalwart Slayer, try to plant our feet on the ground and just immediately slam into Boros. That seems good as anything to me. 3 mana, 2/3 flying haste, already excellent. But if you have a lot of damage dealing instants and sorceries, then you'll be getting a lot of value off of this. When spells would deal damage to your stuff, you prevent that damage. So if your opponent has a bunch of green or red removal, like Duel for Dominance that deals damage, then you get to prevent all that. And if the spell would deal damage to an opponent or permanent and opponent controls, you get to add 1 to that damage, so your burn spells are going to do even more. So just a huge, powerful, super aggressive Boros rare there. We could also just take one of these great one-color commons like the Purifying Dragon or Fangblade Brigand here. That way, if we get cut out of white, we can still just go like red and something, but Karolus just seems super powerful here, and obviously whoever passed that to us is okay with the person on their left going in red-white, so we'll try to get in there if we can. So this pack, what do we see? One of the most powerful, most notable cards, mainly Search Party Captain. Just one of my favorite cards in the pack. 4 mana for a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card, but you get a cost reduction of 1 mana for each creature you attacked with. So this can often cost only 2 or 3 mana, and you're getting a great deal anytime that happens. Any creature that replaces itself when it comes into play by drawing a card is just an excellent creature in my book, as long as the price is fair, and it certainly is on Search Party Captain. So I think I'm going to roll with that here. Other good cards in this pack, Diagraph Rebirth's a lot of fun and slower flashback, Self-Mill decks. Curse of Leeches is pretty solid, but it's kind of a weird card, so I wouldn't be surprised that there are people playing black that just passed up on it for good removal. That's basically it. Those are my favorite cards in that pack. Pick 4 now. What do we have? Well, our on-color cards are very filler. We have Harvesttide Infiltrator, 3/2 trample during the day and a 4/4 trample at night. Unruly Mob, which can get some counters on it, but definitely a lot better for a sacrifice deck, and even then you want to have a lot of tokens to really get there. Sungold Barrage, not super main deckable removal, although draft challenge events are best 2 out of 3, so we could take the Sungold Barrage for the sideboard. That being said, it's pick 4, and there's still an Organ Hoarder in this pack, which is the best blue common by far, and any Organ Hoarders that you see late are always a good sign that blue is open. So I think I'm going to slam the Organ Hoarder here. Even if white and red end up super open and we don't end up playing it, we're not missing out on a ton here, and if blue ends up being really open and we can make a sick like blue-white Disturb deck, we'll be pretty happy. So we'll grab that Organ Hoarder there. So that being said, this pack, it does look like red is looking wide open. We have a Moonrager Slasher or Burn the Accursed. I like both of these cards a lot. I don't know which is actually better. The fact that Burn the Accursed does 2 damage to your opponent's face means that it still has that versatility that Moonrager Slash has, where the Slash can finish your opponent off by dealing 3 damage to them out of nowhere. Accursed is going to do 2 damage to them too, and this of course also kills bigger creatures and exiles the creatures. The main thing on Moonrager Slash is it's much cheaper. It's only 3 mana or even 1 mana during the night, so I think both of these are excellent. I don't actually know which is better. But I think, yeah, red-white, we're probably going low curve aggressive. I'll go for the Moonrager Slash first, but Burn the Accursed is a pretty high pick for us as well, especially with Rem Karolus to add 1 to the damage it does on both fronts. Add 1 to the damage it does to their creature, and add 1 to the damage it does to them. So this packet's going to be a real easy Burn the Accursed. We passed up on it for the Moonrager Slash. Well, there's no Moonrager Slash in this pack, so Burn the Accursed it is. Evolving Wilds would be okay, Immolation would be fine, but if we have Rem Karolus' ability, any damage-based removal is going to be more exciting to us than minus toughness-based removal. So Burn the Accursed it is. Pick 7 now. Not much going for us. Neonate's Rush is a great combo with Rem Karolus, and pretty okay on its own. Obviously at its best with vampires, but even when you're not playing vampires, there are some 1 toughness creatures in the format. So mildly sideboardy, but the fact that we have Rem Karolus makes it kind of a fine main deck for us, whereas Sun Gold Barrage would be pretty much a sideboard card for us. Now we could have our first little vampire here to go with it, Voldaren Stinger, and our deck is looking to potentially go for a pretty aggressive curve. We have some really quick creatures like Rem Karolus, big finishers like Dualcraft Trainer, and a lot of cheap burn, so hopefully we can go really aggressive here and take the 1-drop. That's it's really hard to block this card because you always have the threat of activating this and making it like a 3-power first striker. So Voldaren Stinger will be the pick there. For curve purposes, I kind of like the Falconwrath Perforator here, although I don't love having a lot of 1 toughness creatures because there are a lot of easy ways to kill it off. Just having a 1/1 blocker will do it, stuff like that. But Brimstone Vandal is just not particularly exciting to me. Looks super filler, so Perforator's pretty filler too, but we have Neonate's Rush, so at least it helps on that facet. Well, if we're going to see decent combat tricks like Blessed Defiance go pretty late, then it's possible that Festival Crashers could be a pretty sick combo for us. Have a deck with a ton of instants and sorceries, especially cheap combat tricks like the Blessed Defiance, and then the Festival Crashers can really go off. So I think I'm going to take the good old Pumpkinhead here and see what we can do with it. Sometimes you can play around with a really fun deck just chocked full of combat tricks. Probably not playing Pax Betrayal. We have to be absurdly aggressive for that, but we're pretty committed to what we're doing by now, so I'll slam it in the sideboard. And same with the Sun Gold Barrage. That's just a good sideboard card. Abandon the Post, super aggressive card, but maybe we sideboard it in for some reason. And Plummet here. All right, so pack 2, pick 1. We don't open anything excellent for us. I think the best card for us being Burn the Accursed here. There's a lot of pretty great removal at common in almost any color in this format, so I'm not in love with Cathar's Call because this is the kind of card that's only going to be good if your creature stays on the board uncontested for several turns. So for 3 mana, you'd like to get 2 to 3 1/1s out of this, so you need to put this on a creature and have your opponent not have a removal spell for it in the first 3 turns that creature's out for it to be good. So Cathar's Call I'm not super high on, but Burn the Accursed, especially with the Rem, I'll slam that in here. Maybe wheel a Flare of Faith to play around with the Festival Crashers. Of course, we have 1 Festival Crasher right now, but we might get more later on. And this pack, we have an excellent rare. The Reckless Stormseeker is a brutal card at 3 mana for essentially a 3/3 haste, all by its lonesome. It's giving one of your creatures +1/+0 in haste until end of turn every turn. So it even gives your turn 4 play haste. Say we play this turn 3, hit our opponent for 3, play Dualcraft Trainer turn 4, and give our Dualcraft Trainer haste. Some absurd things can happen with this card, even if you never flip it. And if you do flip it, +2/+0 trample and haste is absolutely brutal. So really happy to get past that Reckless Stormseeker there. And another pretty cool rare here. This one's green, though. So we're going to pass it along, let somebody get a decent pick for green rare if they want it. I think out of this pack, we'll go ahead and take a Loyal Griff. This is a pretty good card. 3 mana for a 2/2 flash flyer, so you get some evasive threats in there early game. Pretty on par with what you'd expect, 3 mana for a 2-power flyer. However, this gives you the ability to potentially save one of your creatures from a removal spell by bouncing it back into your hand, so pretty good versatility on the Loyal Griff. Happy to play around with that here. All right, so we have another Voldaran Stinger. We have a Candle Trap, but I have a lot of damage-based removal, and I'm a much bigger fan of that because that gets the creature completely off the board, whereas Candle Trap only gives it Defender until you activate the additional cost of the Coven ability. And you won't always have the creatures needed to get Coven, so not a huge fan of Candle Trap, especially in aggressive decks like this where keeping creature on their board as a defender is actually a big deal. I think I'm going to take Lunarch Veteran here, kind of comparable in power level to the Stinger. This one, a very different card though. This one, better with sacrifice stuff. We don't really have any sacrifice stuff here, but we still have the ability to use this as a creature that can chip in there early, get a free chump block out, and come back as a nice little flyer to try to close out the game. So I do enjoy a Lunarch Veteran or two. Well, there are a lot of red and white cards in here, which is a good sign, but most of them are not very good. Kind of more interested in playing around with the Spell Rune Painter over the Harvesttide Infiltrator, just because we already have a decent amount of burn spells, decent amount of instants and sorceries, and with a Festival Crash in our deck, we could potentially start prioritizing combat tricks and have a lot of fun. Just really messing around with our power and toughness at instant speed there. So we'll grab a Spell Rune Painter, see if that works out. Ooh, pick 6 Dual Craft Trainer. Don't mind if I do. There is that Blessed Defiance, and I have been saying how I would be considering combat tricks highly here. But Dual Craft Trainer, as I said before, just such a powerful ability if you can get Coven active. So I'm going to scoop up a second copy of that. Be very happy about that. All right, and now we get a great 2-mana creature for our curve, which is good because we're missing out there. In an aggressive deck, you want like 5 or 6 2-mana creatures. We only have 2 right now, and we're like halfway through the draft. So being able to go ahead and pick up a Candlegrove Witch is pretty nice. 2 mana for a 2/2 on curve, and if you do start triggering Coven, it'll be flying during your turn, letting you get some evasive attacks in, which is quite nice. All right, and I don't really care about any of these cards, but let's make sure we have some great removal in the sideboard for if we play against some kind of werewolf deck with that Sun Gold Barrage there. Could take Jack-o'-lantern or Crossroads Candle Guide, both very filler cards that you wouldn't really play unless you're trying to splash a third color. Just on the off chance that we want to do that, but splashing not generally advised in aggressive strategies like what we're going for here. And I'm actually going to take Flare of Faith over Unruly Mob. That might be controversial opinion here. I don't think either of these cards are particularly exciting for what we're going for. Again, really need a lot of tokens or a lot of sacrifice for Unruly Mob to do much. We're not really doing that here. Whereas Flare of Faith, sure, pretty unexciting combat trick, but with Festival Crasher and Spell Rune Painter, I am open to the idea of playing some combat tricks here, especially if we can get more Crashers, and I'm just going to go ahead and pick up another Crasher here. There is a combat trick, the Stolen Vitality, but these tend to go really late every time, whereas the Crashers, I'm going to get them in the deck first, because I'm just not going to play the combat tricks unless I have tons of Crashers and stuff anyway. So accidentally, did I put that in the main deck? No, I got it in the sideboard. All right, cool. Homestead Courage. That actually does work with Festival Crashers and Spell Rune Painter for a cheap flashback card. Get a permanent +1/+1 on it and give the +2 till end of turn. So maybe play Homestead Courage, probably not. Electric Revelation, we don't have any card draw really, so might play around with that. Don't love the Hedge Witch's Mask, though. So let's see what we've opened up in pack 3, the final pack here. Looks like really nothing exciting at all. Probably the best card for us is just going to be the 3-power creature we can get out on turn 2. The other thing that's exciting about this card is, of course, it can sacrifice to destroy an artifact or enchantment, so it's a main deckable artifact or enchantment removal spell. So Cathar Commando, it'll fit fine in here, just a 3-power creature on turn 2. Nothing super exciting, but certainly a good card for us. And how are we doing on 2-mana creatures? Now that we picked up those Festival Crashers, I think we're doing all right. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good enough. We would ideally like 1 or 2 more, so we have options of what to cut and what to put back in, but I like Search Party Captain a whole lot. I like it more than Candlegrove Witch, and I think we have enough 2-mana cards to pick up a Search Party Captain here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Lunarch Veteran, another fine card. Same with Voldaran Stinger, fine stuff. But if Search Party Captain weren't here, I'd just take another Candlegrove Witch. Okay, Okay, ooh, play with fire. That is spicy. That's a spicy meatball. We have 15 creatures already. Your average deck has like 17 creatures. Yeah, I think Play with Fire is just strong enough, just cheap enough. Plus combos well with Festival Crasher, Spellrune Painter, Rem Karolus. Combos well with all that stuff. And yeah, it's straight up just good even without them. So Play with Fire is pretty exciting to pick up here. Now, probably not, well, definitely not playing Silverbolt because we have so many instants and sorceries that do the same thing. I don't know if I'll play Ritual of Hope. It is a combat trick, but it like buffs the whole board. If you have Coven, it's pretty good. If you don't have Coven, it's pretty weak. I don't know. We're already considering playing combat tricks, so it's definitely the most likely card to see play in this pack, so we'll throw it in here, and then we'll see what we move around later. So Geist Flame Reservoir, I think this is just too slow for what we're doing. When you cast instants and sorceries, you're putting charge counters on it. You can remove a bunch of charge counters to do damage to a target, or you can use it as a slow card draw engine. Costs 2 mana to exile the top card of your library, and you can play it this turn. So you have to have the 2 mana to use that, plus the mana required to cast whatever you exiled. So a very, very slow card, but a very powerful one if you can get it running. That being said, I'm just going to take a Cathar Commando, and then whoever drafted Geist Flame Reservoir, they'll cast it, and we'll just blow it up with a Cathar Commando. We'll just have a fun time doing that. All right, well, Sacred Fire, sure. 2 mana, 2 damage to any target, gain 2 life, fine deal. If we have Rem Karolus out, we just turn this into 3 damage for 2, turn it into a Lightning Helix. I guess we'd still only gain 2 life, but still, pretty exciting card. This is a deck absolutely chock full of instants and sorceries that throw combat damage, or throw damage at creatures, and I wouldn't mind having even more of that. So at this point, I have such a high instant sorcery count. We have 10 already, and I have so many good just burn spells to trigger our Festival Crashers or our Spellrune Painters that I really don't think we're actually going to play more combat tricks at this point. So I am going to take Candlegrove Witch over Stolen Vitality. We're not going to play more 2-drops either, but now we have more options of what 2-drops to cut. And then again, just not going to play 1,000 instants and sorceries, but I guess we're definitely not playing Tavern Ruffian either, are we? 7 creatures? It's a very slim possibility. We already have double Dual Craft Trainer for just better 4-drops. I don't know. Really slim possibility we play either of these, but I'll scoop up a Flare of Faith, I guess. And for the rest of this draft, I'm just, again, not playing combat tricks. I don't like this equipment. It's just pretty expensive for only +1/+1. And I'm not playing Pax Betrayal. I'll just rare draft now. We're late enough in the draft. I'm pretty happy to do that. We'll just have a million Candlegrove Witches. All of our 2-mana cards be a Candlegrove Witch. Seems fine to me. Stingers don't seem super exciting for this deck because of all the burn and stuff. We have to get creatures out of the way. We don't really need the first striker to convince our opponents not to block, because we'll just get the creatures off the board and have them not block that way. I'm just going to take Vault Progress. We have so many combat tricks that I already have gotten to the point where I'm probably not running. And again, Vault Progress, just the rarest cards in the pack. All right, we have the setup. If we're against some creatures with 4 or more toughness, we're going to blow them up. We're going to sideboard in so many Sun Gold Barrages. It's not going to be funny for our opponents, but it'll be pretty funny for us. So let's see what we've got here. Nice aggressive curve, too. Nothing much going on late game. These Search Party Captains even, they don't actually cost 4 mana all the time. A lot of the time in this deck, they'll only cost 2 or 3. We have 18 creatures, so we could even cut one. I actually kind of want to cut Falconwrath Perforator over anything else, just the 1 toughness, 2 mana creature. The commando is 3 power and 1 toughness, and it has flash, and it destroys an artifact or enchantment. I feel like this is just generally better. Perforator's better if you really need to trigger cards that give you a benefit when you damage your opponent, but we don't really have cards like that. Those are all the black-red vampire cards. Yeah, we're not really looking for Perforator's kind of effect. We'll cut that, and then we still have 17 creatures here, and then just start cutting a bunch of the combat tricks, because we just don't have room with the amount of just great burn we have now. Cut Electric Revelation even. We might not need the card draw because we have double Search Party Captain, and hopefully we're aggressive enough that just by the time we run out of cards, we just kill our opponent. But if not, Search Party Captains replace themselves with a card draw when we play them. Neonate's Rush draws us a card when we cast that as well. And I'm highly considering even cutting down to a 16-land deck here, although that might be a bit bold. We do have two quite powerful 5-mana cards we'd like to hit relatively early in the game. We also have a 6-mana flashback ability that's going to be good, so maybe cutting down to 16 lands is too bold here. In which case we cut like Ritual of Hope. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at here. It's between the 16-land Ritual of Hope version of this deck or 17-land no Ritual of Hope. And like a Ritual of Hope looks like it could be spicy here. We have some varying power and toughnesses to hit Coven for this card, and if we hit it early, I mean, attacking with 3 creatures, that's like an extra 6 power on our board. Even if stuff gets blocked, it's like an extra 4 damage, and maybe we win a trade that we wouldn't have otherwise. Maybe that's living in Magical Christmas Land, but if you look at our powers, like, here's 2 1-power creatures. Here's 2 more 1-power creatures. I guess those don't count for Ritual of Hope because they would get +2 before it resolves. But here's 2 1-power creatures, 3 2-power creatures, a couple 3-power creatures, more 2s. The Stormseeker turns something into a 3. We can really vary our power toughness around a bit here. Yeah, this could be wrong, but I think I'm going to start off with a 16-land version of this deck, just go an 8-8 split. And then, as the rounds progress, if we're really getting hosed on mana, then we will go back to 17 lands, but this is definitely not an 18-land deck, I feel. This looks like a pretty sweet, just Boros aggro deck here. So, let's just get started here. We're not super heavily built around Festival Crashers, but had to think of something to name the deck, so. And we're getting very close to Halloween, so I'm very excited for that. I hope you all have a great Halloween this year. I hope you got some cool costumes to at least take some pictures of and show off to your friends on the internet, even if you don't get to do much in person. All right, sweet hand. Both colors, only 2 mana, but that's to be expected with our mana base. Get the Search Party Captain out turn 3 pretty easily. If we hit a land, Stormseeker is going to be ridiculous. I'm all for this hand. A lot going for it. All right, Lunarch Veteran turn 1 from our opponent. Not the kind of card we want to see. They're going to be gaining life every time they play a creature. We are certainly not excited about playing against life gain, so let's go ahead and get our 2-2 out rather than our 3-1. Obviously, our 3-1 does not attack well into a Lunarch Veteran, so they are playing black-white, the best color pair for a Lunarch Veteran. And a Vengeful Strangler is their next play, a 2-1. When it dies, they get to put the Strangler's Grasp, the Vengeful Grasp, or I'm sorry, the Strangling Grasp, I said 3 names before I got the right one, onto one of our cards, and we'll have to sacrifice it and lose a life, essentially. However, that can't block, and they only have a 1-1 to block with, so Stormseeker comes on out, and we just slam in here unless they chump block with the Lunarch Veteran. So hitting that 3rd mana for the Stormseeker on turn 3 going to be massive here, leading into a really excellent start. Like, imagine if we hit the 4th mana turn 4 and we curve into a Dual Craft Trainer, that's going to be absolutely insane. That being said, we won't have Coven yet if we just play Dual Craft Trainer next turn. So it's possible it wouldn't even be the right play if we hit the 4th land. But we'd still be excited to hit a 4th land regardless. Alright, it's going to go to nighttime. This is going to be the Storm Charge Slasher giving +2/+0 trample and haste now, but they have 3 mana up, could very well have removal for it. I think I just send in the squad here, give Candlegrove Witch +2 trample. Actually, we get more damage if we get the Slasher trample, right? Because if we attack with both and this has trample, they can block there to stop 2 damage, or they can block there to stop 1. If we do it the other way, they can block there to stop 3, or block there to stop 1. So yeah, throw it on the Candlegrove Witch here and then just attack in, do everything post-combat. We might be playing a Search Party Captain. Although, throwing it on the Witch plays against removal better. Plays around removal better. Gets more damage in if they're planning on removal here. And unfortunately they are planning on removal here. Alright. So we could have got 2 more damage in here. But that will die. Well, we're probably still getting 2 in at least. No, they will take the block now. So I only have the mana to play 1 card here because I only got to attack with 1 thing. Ooh, Blessed Defiance to have it trade up, and they gain life. These are some really good cards against our kind of deck. Any life gain slapped onto anything is going to be good for them. And the fact that it spits out a 1/1 token as well is actually huge. We have 2 3/1s in our hands, so that 1/1 token is also really important. So again, since I only have the mana to cast 1 card here, we're going to cast Search Party Captain, so we get to draw, potentially open up more plays next turn by digging towards a land. And it did hit a land. So we're still really early into just game 1 of this match, but I am terrified of this matchup. This black-white kind of sacrifice deck just has a lot of good cards to grind out the game and get several blocks off. It just seems like a lot of the kind of stuff we just do not want to deal with over here. And a second copy of Lunarch Veteran here. Yeah, these Catharic Mana is really bad for this matchup. I think we're just dropping Dualcraft Trainer. Get our biggest, best card out. Get in a couple damage here at least. So I suppose the Cathar Commandos can at least destroy the Strangling Grasp. But that's not much. They do have Defenestrate as well. Great instant speed removal there. Keep the board clear. Keep chipping at us. Grinding out this war of attrition now. There's their own Candlegrove Witch. And the Luminous Phantom, the flip side of the Lunarch Veteran coming in. Well, they're out of cards in hand, but they've kind of already got there. They're back to full health, basically. And we're just not going to get in on this board state. And they're just going to keep chipping at us with the Flyers at the very least. The Strangler as well. Not looking great for our Pumpkin Smashers today. And a Gavany Trapper off the top so they could even just tap down whatever we give Double Strike with Dualcraft Trainer. Just very much not getting in here. We can first strike, kill the Strangler, but then they slap it on something. We won't have the mana to blow it up until our upkeep when that trigger's already on the stack, so we can't stop it from going off. Sacred Fire? Gain some life and kill one of their cards. Actually pretty good here. And now we can actually block the Strangler and Commando to kill it. Yeah, I think we passed the turn, and now we might actually have some pretty good blocks. And the fact that we could even flashback the Sacred Fire if we hit one more land is pretty huge here. Might actually put in some work to getting back in this game. It's our best shot for sure. The Trapper does get to shut off our Dualcraft Trainer here, which is a bad time. Oh. Or they just draw Defenestrate as well, and they shut off both our blockers. Alright, well, we're still not, like, dead, but that is certainly not ideal for us in any way. Yeah, that's just really bad. I think we have the Sacred Fire Candlegrove Witch. And I guess because they killed our Dualcraft Trainer, we can just trade with Strangler and they can't put it on anything. And then we can flash in a commando in the end step. It only has 1 toughness, which makes it a really bad blocker, but it's what we've got. All right, so just cast double Festival Crasher and hope we hit a land to clear out another flyer. Can't really afford to attack with Cathar Commando, because if we attack with Cathar Commando, well, I wouldn't have chosen that if I was my opponent, because if we attack with Cathar Commando, they do get to bring back Luminous Phantom. But they could be keeping it around because they have a bunch of Eaten Alive and Sacrifice effects in their deck, so we don't know what's in their deck, so we can't accurately assess anything here. Ooh, Rem? That's a flyer. That's a flyer, and then if we hit the mana for Sacred Fire does 3. I guess they just Gavany Trapper down Rem, so we're still not blocking with it, so it doesn't actually change anything. Yeah, I mean, it looks cool. Looks pretty spicy. But yeah, they just Gavany Trapper that down. We again can't afford to attack because then Lunarch Veteran goes to the grave and they can play another flyer. So we just cast Rem, pass turn. They tap down Rem and attack us for 2 in the sky. And then we just need to hit the Sacred Fire mana or we die the turn after. Tap down a Festival Crasher, okay. I guess they can just tap down Rem this turn. So they might as well wait. No, they have more removal. Alright, our opponent's deck is super sweet. Midnight Ambush, double Defenestrate, and Infernal Grasp. Not only a bunch of removal, but a lot of cheap removal, all 3 mana or less. This is going to be a tough matchup here. So we go to 1 now. I should have got a commando out here. Was not thinking, because it doesn't really change much, because we're definitely not attacking with it. We did hit the land for the Sacred Fire, so we do get we get a couple more turns because of that. I think we kill Luminous Phantom because it does more than the Spirit Token does. And we kill it now before they draw a card. And that way Festival Crashers could trample in. But of course, if they do, their other Lunarch Veteran is going to flip. You know, maybe it is right to push in and let them flip it. Because we die in 3 turns. So, like, how are we going to kill them faster than 3 turns if we're not attacking them? Sure, we'll die in 2 turns if the Lunarch Veteran dies, but, like, what else are we going to do here? We kind of have to just, like, top deck Neonate's Rush to kill a flyer and just go off. Yeah, I think we have to attack here, and not casting Cathar Commando actually might have been a big punt, because that would have added another potential 3 damage coming in this turn. I mean, well, it was definitely a punt. We should have cast it regardless, but it might end up costing the game. It's unlikely. This game is still heavily weighted in our opponent's favor, but we'd have more of a chance with a Cathar Commando on board for sure, because then we have more of a game plan going for the aggressive counterattack. They'd be down to 11 right now instead. Ooh, Crawl from the Cellar, bring cards back from the grave for 1 mana and then 4 mana for the next creature. So they do get a Candlegrove Witch onto the board, which is going to be another flying card. Burn the Accursed is not going to save us. They have these 2 flyers even if we kill Candlegrove Witch. And it's not going to lethal our opponent. The Crashers might hit them for 6, and then the Accursed hits them for 2 more. They would take 6, go to 8, take 2 more, go to 6 life total. If we had another Cathar Commando on board, and they didn't block anything this turn, then maybe we could have got there. but that seems highly unlikely. Because if we had another command on board last turn, we'd hit them for 3 more, so they would have been at 3 life after all of that happens, in which case the commando hitting them this turn would put them at 0. But that would require them blocking with literally nothing this turn, which I think is super unlikely. I guess we can find out here. If they don't block these Festival Crashers at all, maybe they wouldn't have blocked a Cathar Commando either. But I feel it's super likely to just slam the 1/1 flyer onto the 3/1 had it been out on the board. I think I'd rather just not show my opponent more cards because we just die on the crackback. Alright, well, this might actually be an abandon the post game. Because they just have so many annoying like 1/1 things that can just keep coming back from the grave. It is not good for us. And Homestead Courage, even turn our 3/1s into 2 toughness creatures, could matter. Are we just throwing in weird fringe playables this time? That might be the plan. What are the weakest cards against them? Ritual of Hope actually seems pretty sweet. Burn the Curse might just be too expensive. All of the cheap removal is going to kill pretty much anything we saw. The fact that Burn Exiles is good for us, though. Yeah, no, I think our weakest cards are Cathar Commandos against this deck, and like we're throwing in 2 cards that make them a lot better, Abandon the Post and Homestead Courage. So I don't think it really makes sense to even make those changes if we're just cutting the Cathar Commandos. At least not to throw in the Homestead Courage. I feel like even in this matchup, Burn the Accursed is just really good, and probably better than Abandon the Post. But who knows, maybe we can cheese out a quick win. I think our deck really is not going to win the long game against this kind of deck often. So we can just really zero in on the cheap quick win, if possible here, with Homestead Courage, Abandon the Post. Let's go 1-1 here. Cut 1 commando, 1 burn. Call it even there. Definitely playing first. This is much slower than ideal, but the fact that we have both colors and several castable spells means it's not really mulliganable in limited. We could draw way worse than this pretty easily. So Gavany Trapper turn 2. I'm kind of interested in just blowing that up immediately with Sacred Fire, just because of how annoying that can be throughout the game. And we have more removal in hand. We obviously have the ability to flash back the Sacred Fire. And we have Moonrager Slash. Let's get the Trapper here. Ooh, Novice Occultist also very good against our deck. Gets a chump block and draws them a card. Against our 3/1s, it trades in and draws them a card. I guess I should have just cut both the 3/1s. Because they are just consistently just slamming down 1-power creatures. It is too late for that now. Ooh, Homestead Courage of their own. Now the Occultist is a 2/3. They could even make the Veteran a 2/2 if they want. But they're going to go ahead and make the Occultist big enough to attack and block the Dual Craft Trainer. So they're sending in for 3 here. And it gets Vigilance the turn they cast that. So it will be blocking the Dual Craft Trainer. Neonate's Rush is the draw. Get rid of the front half of Lunarch Veteran, but it will come back as a flyer, and the flyer, as we saw last game, pretty important to kill, so I'm just going to hold on to Neonate's Rush here. I suppose if they block our trainer, we could finish off the Occultist with it, and we get a 3-4 off of their board, which might actually be worth it, even though we won't have the removal for their flyer anymore. They could have a Midnight Ambush here, though, for -2/-2, and then that blows up in our face. Yeah, no, let's just play another Dual Craft Trainer. I mean, now they just don't have good attacks with Occultists because we have 6 First Strike power. So just eat anything they attack with. Gavany Silversmith make their board even bigger here. Occultist now a 4-5. Silversmith a 3-4. So pretty much everything out of range of Moonrager's Slash, but with First Strikers, we can still get there. Burn the Accursed, great draw. We get to exile the Occultist, and they don't draw the card off of it. Seems like a good play for this turn, and I can hold on to this land so they don't know for sure if I can Sacred Fire something. They might play around Sacred Fire otherwise, or they might not play around Sacred Fire otherwise. I guess either way the phrasing works. If I play the 6th land, they might play around a Sacred Fire. And not play a good 2-toughness creature. Crawl from the cellar, bring back the Gavany Trapper. Slam it down on the board. Gain a life. Well, we're probably just killing another Gavany Trapper because I'm still not excited about killing this Lunarch Veteran when it's just going to come back with a vengeance. Although we do have the rush to kill it when it does. Now I'm more excited about clearing all of their 1/1s out because we have the Cathar Commando, which I should not be playing, but I am, and you will have to deal with that. So let's just send in the Dual Craft Trainers here, see what they block with. Neonate's Rush if they block the trainer here. Oh my god, I should have played the land first. I should have played the land first, that way if they have Midnight Ambush in hand, we can Neonate's Rush, and then if they have Midnight Ambush, we can also Moonrager Slash and still win the fight. That was sloppy. We should have another land out here for that off chance. Luckily, no Olivia's Midnight Ambush from our opponent, so very happy to see that. We also draw Homestead Courage, which is beautiful for Cathar Commando. We can make it enough power to attack into the Lunarch Veteran, and you know what? Don't mind if I do. Homestead Courage is a sorcery, so we'll do the thing. And that also means we have 2 different powers on the board for Coven. Only need 1 more to give 2 of our creatures double strike every turn. Alright, Infernal Grasp here. Just going to go ahead and kill the Cathar Commando. Actually pretty happy with that. I definitely understand the reasoning from our opponent. It keeps us off of Coven. The trainers are better creatures at face value, but that way they keep us off Coven, so solid choice from our opponent, but I am also happy with that. So they just have Crawl from the Cellar in hand, and that's it. They could have got back Gavany Silversmith if they wanted, but I suppose they did not. They want to just get back Gavany Trapper? Alright, well, I mean, just kill the Trapper and then Homestead Courage whatever they didn't tap. Because they're going to respond by tapping one of these. Alright, yep. Now we Homestead Courage the untapped one. Jam in for 4. So are they just going to bring back Gavany Trapper again? Might be the line. No, they do bring back the Gavany Silversmith. They just wanted the mana up to trap one more turn, I suppose. Turns Veteran into a 2-2 and the Silversmith into a 3-4. We still have great attacks against that with Moonrager Slash in hand. Although I suppose they think they can double block the 4-4 well now. I'm still going to attack in with both. That makes them just know for sure we have Moonrager Slash, but I think it's still worth it. Alright, yeah, let me just kill the Silversmith. Because this way we're getting in 4 damage this turn, which speeds up the clock. Alright, just pass the turn. Trainer's going to get chump blocked by Lunarch Veteran. We have a Ritual of Hope backup now, which is super sweet. It's only going to give +1/+1, but that's still potentially 2 more damage later. Flare of Faith, give that +3/+3. It turns into a 5/5 and indestructible because it's human. Alright, we can't stop that. A 5/5 indestructible is going to beat a 5/5 first strike, so... Alright, that happens. Stinger, not a terrible draw. We have a lot of mana to pump into that. Alright, this is the chump block this time. And here is the Stinger. Luminous Phantom, coming on out. The back half of the Lunarch Veteran they just chump blocked with. And they have 2 cards in hand. At 5 life here, if they let Voldaren Stinger through, it just kills them. And Dual Craft Trainer hits them for 3, so they are in a bad position here between a rock and a hard place. I'm gonna go really bold here and hope for no instant speed interaction. It is stopping during their turn, so they probably have it, but in case it doesn't get them out of this way I can trigger Coven on this attack and give something Double Strike. Alright, it's a Cathar Commando. We do give something Double Strike this turn. We're going to have a 5/1 First Striker and a 3/3 Double Striker, so if either gets in, we win. So they have to chump block each here. And that is the choice. They do gain a life from the Luminous Phantom because one of their creatures left the battlefield. And they scoop them up there, so 1-1. Alright, relatively happy about the changes made to our deck. Although I am very much considering cutting this Cathar Commando, just because it only has 1 toughness, in which case we just throw in another Burn the Accursed here. We're down to 15 creatures if we do that, which is a low creature count, but I'm still down for it. Because our only other creature options, if we just had a 2/2 with no text in our sideboard, we'd throw that in over the commandos. But the problem is we just have a bunch of 1 toughness stuff. Like, these play terribly against the Lunarch Veteran. They play really bad against Blessed Defiance because those spit out 1/1 tokens. They're just not good against our opponent's deck, so... You know, Homestead Courage makes them more reasonable, Abandon the Post makes them more reasonable, but... Yeah, I think not enough to justify having 1 in over Burn the Accursed. Alright, Game 3 of Match 1. The deciding game of the round. That is not what we want to see to start it off. If we were a really greedy player, we'd keep this because it has our 2 best bombs, Reckless Stormseeker and Rem, but we cannot justify keeping that. We need to hit the 2 exact cards we want to get there this game. We need to draw land, and one of them has to be a red source. So, and this just has to be a mulligan. Alright, this we can keep, but I'm not particularly happy with it. Turn 1 Veteran, turn 3 Search Party Captain isn't the end of the world, but it's sketchy for sure. We can't really afford to mulligan more. Alright, turn 1 Lunarch Veteran. But you gotta expect every game from this opponent. Turn 1 Lunarch Veteran from us this time, though. 1 on both sides. And Novice Cultist turn 2. Alright. Probably just playing Rem Karolus turn 3 rather than the Search Party Captain. You know, I don't mind us just trading these off, because I have nothing to do turn 2, and they might actually have something to do turn 3. Well, that is super awkward, because now I do. Now I have Candlegrove Witch, which is probably better than Luminous Phantom. Yeah, I feel like Candlegrove Witch, just getting a 2/2 out is just better than getting the 1/1 flyer out here. But with what we had in hand, I liked that trade because we knew that unless we drew a 2-mana creature, we could just slam down Luminous Phantom, and it's better than whatever we were doing because we probably weren't doing much. They might be stuck on 2 mana and need to hit a third here. This is probably not... This couldn't be a combat trick, could it? Could be Blessed Alliance. I guess I'm actually happier if they just hit me for 1 than either of those things happening. If they really need the card draw, I don't want to give it to them. And if they have Blessed Defiance, I don't want to lose my Witch here. Alright, well, so the trade was good for them because they're stuck on 2 mana. Alright. So... we get to slam down Rem and just attack in here. All they can do is chump block, so they just take the 4. We'll see what they hit this turn. They do hit the 3rd land now. So it looks like both players knew when that trade was offered and when I took that trade that we just didn't have anything to do on turn 2 anyway. So we were just both planning on just casting a Luminous Phantom there to kind of fill out the curve. Alright, well, Candlegrove Witch does not attack in well anymore, but Rem still does. If they have Blessed Defiance, that's a sad day. All I could do to stop that would be to abandon the post pre-combat, which seems pretty bad. I think I'm just trying to cast Search Party Captain this turn. We are hoping for no Blessed Defiance here. And I suppose, even if they have it, we can still cast the Search Party Captain at least after this attack. Alright, well that's just straight up Blessed Defiance. Oh wait, no, Olivia's Midnight Ambush also another option. That would actually be better for them. Flare of Faith. It is the 15th combat trick in their deck. Not the first few I mentioned. Forgot about that as well. Opponent is running a lot of instant speed interaction. Defenestrate on the Candlegrove Witch. Send in the squad, sure. We will send our squad right back at you. And we hit the 4th mana for Dualcraft Trainer, although we could wait to cast it in a turn where we have Coven. So we could wait till we have our 1/1 out, our Luminous Phantom. Is that better? I don't think it is. I think I'd rather just be able to attack with the potential 3/3 double striker the turn that I have it. Especially with Abandon the Post in hand. Like, next turn we could just, like, Luminous Phantom, then Abandon the Post and shut off their blocks. And just guaranteed hit them for 6 damage from double striking Dualcraft Trainer. Candle Trap on the Search Party Captain. So, it can't attack. Dualcraft Trainer can still attack, and it's still on the board here. A little weird from our opponent. I wonder what they're planning over there. Definitely something, probably Vengeful Strangler on the Dualcraft Trainer. Something like that instead. They only have 3 toughness, 2 power over there, so Dualcraft Trainer attacks in pretty well, even without Ritual of Hope, and we have that as a backup, so just send it in. Although, trigger our Coven first. Would I rather trigger Coven with Lunarch Veteran or Voldaren Stinger? I think with the Veteran, because we only need to hold 2 mana up after this. Alright, so here they straight up just chump block with the Occultist and draw a card, I'm expecting. That is the choice. So I'm saving the Abandon the Post for when we have more creatures for a potential lethal, especially with Ritual of Hope. We might find lethal out of nowhere with that card, because now we go Candlegrove Witch here. And if they only hold 2 blockers up this next turn, and they don't kill any of our cards, we can shut off the 2 blockers, Ritual of Hope, that would be 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, that'd be 17 damage. So... the fact that this doesn't deal damage is really nice, so we can just block the Strangler like that. Just gain the life. I suppose this makes our Coven a little fragile. because they could kill the Candlegrove Witch to stop it, but they could already just kill our 1/1 to stop Coven. Although I guess we have the backup 1/1. If they're going to kill anything here, they're going to kill the Dual Craft Trainer, and what am I talking about? Alright, unfortunately they will have a blocker here, so we can't just go for a lethal Ritual Abandon the Post. Go for a big one where they only have one blocker, so we just give like the Witch Double Strike. It would be Flying Double Strike plus 2 power, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in the sky, and then that just kills a Cultist. Or Veteran. That would be big. Is it worth it, or are we still trying to sneak that out a turn later? I think I'd like to try to sneak it out a turn later, because we have Stinger to play, plus Loyal Grift to flash in out of nowhere. We are really going to be expanding this board. They do have the power and toughness to triple block Dual Craft Trainer and kill it, but they only have 1 white mana up, so the only thing they could have to change that is like Blessed Defiance, which means Ritual of Hope would save Dual Craft Trainer if it gets blocked here. So I think I give Double Strike to the just the big flyer here. Well, not big, but the moderately sized flyer here. Okay, and they do just go for the chump block. Oh yeah, First Strike. What am I talking about? They could just triple block and then I would just win because First Strike anyway. So even with Blessed Defiance, they couldn't like kill Dual Craft Trainer on a block there. Alright, so we're going to flash in a Loyal Griff in the end step, and then hopefully next turn is when we do the Wombo combo, Abandon the Post, Ritual of Hope. Ooh, but they're going to hold up all their mana here. So, could have a lot of interaction to stop that kind of thing if they do. Maybe they're just casting a creature's main phase too, we'll see. Alright, 5 mana, tap out for more Crypt Behemoth. I think that's just guaranteed lethal here. They throw that onto there. We have to sacrifice a creature next turn, but we can just sacrifice our Voldaren Stinger because we're going to use all our mana on something else. Flash in a Loyal Griff, but I will decline to return something. You can just slap that on there, that's fine by me. And now, well, they're at 15, so it might not quite be lethal. I mean, Ritual, all of these get +2. It's so much damage. It's so much damage. I think I shut off everything but the Behemoth as a blocker. And just let the Behemoth do it at once. Which it probably wants to block Dual Craft Trainer. In which case they'll trade and everything else gets in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14? That's 1 damage from lethal. If we throw Double Strike onto Candlegrove Witch, the most they can block is that. Which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's lethal, right? This math probably makes absolutely no sense. I'm not really saying it right, but shut off their ability to block flyers. Go to combat. Our Witch gets flying, so we'll give it Double Strike, or we can just give it to Loyal Griff. Attack with everybody. They declare blocks or whatever, we Ritual of Hope, and that's lethal. Because everything gets +2 power, which means Witch alone is hitting them for 8. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, and they block the Stinger, so this is just mega lethal. Alright. Ritual of Hope actually really doing it that game. But that was Ritual of Hope plus Abandon the Post. That was a matchup where Abandon the Post was really important. They had a bunch of just little annoying blockers to clutter the board with, recastable from the graveyard. And yeah, that's, I think, the first time I've cast Abandon the Post in the Innistrad limited format, but when you're playing best 2 of 3 matches, there are corner cases for almost every card in the format to be a playable card, so kind of exciting there. See Abandon the Post get played. I've played against it a few times, but it's not generally the card I run. main deck. So there we go, 2-1. A win in round 1, heading into round 2 now. Whew, all right, definitely playing first with this deck. Ooh, mulligan that. And this is plenty keepable. I'm also kind of okay getting rid of a land, because Veteran and Crasher, if we attack with both of these on turn 3, Search Party Captain costs only 2. That means everything in the hand is castable. Sure, that's kind of magical Christmas land. That's if our opponent plays no creatures by turn 3. But Search Party Captain is not far from being cast regardless. It's kind of the cheapest 4-drop in existence because it gets cost reductions. So we can cast everything else here, so just drop to 2 lands here. See what we shall hit. So our opponent is playing black. We see a swamp turn 1 and a mountain turn 2. So black-red could be some vampire stuff. They don't have a blocker out here on our turn 3, which means there we go. Search Party Captain. Hopefully that helps us hit the 3rd land. Definitely digs. And we do. We hit the mountain on turn 3, curved out thanks to Search Party Captain. So very happy with that. Now our opponent has black, red, and white mana, so probably splashing in some color there. They drop down a Candlegrove Witch. We could kill that with Sacred Fire or Moonrager Slash and attack for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 this turn. Actually 6 damage this turn, or we could just slam down a Stormseeker and attack in with a 3/3 haste that they can't block well. Yeah, I mean, Stormseeker's just huge. I like just putting this thing on the board. We'll offer the trade with our Search Party Captain too, I suppose, because we're trading a 2/2 for a 2/2 that could occasionally have flying. We are getting that off the board. Make sure they have less blockers for the rest of our creatures. So it's accomplishing something even if it isn't getting damage in there. 4 mana up from our opponent in 3 colors that have a good amount of removal, so wouldn't be surprised to see our Stormseeker just die here and then we just have a couple 1-power creatures left on the board, but we'll see what our opponent has. Everything in our hand is instant speed now, so we can hold up a Loyal Grift pretty easily if they don't kill something now, which means we could save something from a removal spell from our opponent. And that would be something we'd really like to do, because if we pass this turn without casting anything, it will flip tonight. So I'm pretty interested in that. Even though we'd get more damage in by playing the Griff, we'd get 2 more damage in because we can give it haste. So +1 there in haste instead of +1 on one of these 2. But I would rather play a little safer against them killing the Stormseeker, because Stormseeker is such just a massive threat here. That'll just single-handedly close this game out. Plus we get to flip it tonight by doing this. So, and then if it gets to their end step and they've just tapped out to play some creatures, then we'll just play Loyal Griff and pick up our Crasher so that can start attacking. Alright, so they have just played a creature, 0/4. Whenever they attack, they get a 1/1. I could kill that if I Sacred Fire and Moonrager Slash, but then it'll flip to day. I don't want to do that, so let's just Loyal Griff, pick up the Festival Crasher here. Draw for turn. And now I could go ahead and kill it, and if I do kill it, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage. Not lethal. Not lethal if I kill it. The only thing it blocks is the Veteran. 3, 4, 5. We could do lethal if they don't block. So, kind of like just attacking both, seeing if they just don't block here. Because we'll kill it if they block. So they might just choose not to because they want to leave it on the board to attack and get some tokens. They do make the block though. They make it, or they play it safe. So they will live another turn. I think we don't need to hold both of these up, so I'll just cast Festival Crasher. Hold one of these removal spells up. I don't want to cast Stinger though, because I don't want to double spell again. Don't want to make it daytime. Flesh Taker from our opponent. And go for the pass turn. Alright. Sacred Fire that. Lethal on board. And we'll get there. That is game 1. So black, red, and white We saw Flesh Taker. We saw Adeline, the rare, a 0/4, but it gets bigger for the number of creatures you have. So if they curve out well on the play, their deck could be pretty scary. Looks like generally probably going for some white-black sacrifice stuff with the token-producing rare and a Flesh Taker seen by them, or seen from them. Candlegrove Witch was another card we saw. So white-black with red as the splash is what I'm expecting from our opponent. I don't really think we have much to sideboard in this matchup. Like, we could go for the Homestead Courage, abandon the posts if we expect them to be playing a bunch of Lunarch veterans as well because they're in white-black, but we didn't see them. We didn't actively see them yet. Everything that we saw so far, Cathar Commando is fine against. So I'm kind of okay leaving it as is, but I could see an argument for just doing the same thing, getting those abandons in there, abandon and courage and all that. But I mean, good stuff from everything that showed up that game. Go ahead and grab a drink here. Throat is getting pretty dry. This is the second draft I have recorded of the day, but these things can go long, so I cannot record as much of these on my recording days as other drafts. So I may not actually have a draft challenge up every day that they're out, but I'm going to do my best. Probably get 3 or 4 of them out to you all. But these are some chonkers for sure, some hefty drafts. So our opponent is on the play this time around. We do have Coven with Festival Crasher, Candlegrove Witch, and Dual Craft Trainer working in conjunction, so could be a good Dual Craft Trainer game here. Our opponent plays their own Candlegrove Witch. Do we want to open up and just allow the trade here, or just play a 1/3 to block their thing for a while? With a yearning to reach Coven from Dual Craft Trainer, I think I'd rather just play the creatures that just bounce off each other for now. Don't really want to trade our stuff off the board yet. And also a Search Party Captain, so we can attack in without losing a creature and draw the card off of Captain as our turn 3 play. Rem Karolus, all right. The mirror match, that is what their red is for then. Gonna just get that out and haste in here. Well, let's attack with our Festival Crasher. There is no reason for them not to block here. I guess if we had an instant or sorcery, we could beat them up, but they call the bluff. They're like, you don't have an instant or sorcery, get out of here. So Search Party Captain, and now we have our turn 4 Dual Craft Trainer, and it will be active with Coven there. Bereaved Survivors. So when one of their creatures dies, this turns into a 3/2 that brings a cheap creature back from their graveyard to the battlefield every time it attacks. So a creature with mana value 2 or less. With Burn the Accursed in hand to just exile Rem. I'm feeling pretty good this game so far, but Survivor's a little bit scary. So a 2/2 Double Striker attacks in super freely here. Just get in for 4 damage or make them lose a creature. They do get to flip the Survivor if they make the block, but then they don't really have attacks for it. Sure, it's a 3/2, but we just first strike it away with Dual Craft Trainer and then block the Candlegrove Witch with a 1/3. So we would just kill the Avenger and they'd get Candlegrove Witch back. If they have removal in hand, they could turn this into something real good for them. But without that, not the best attack ever. Yep, and they agree, so they just attack with Rem. We'll first strike away their 1/1 token they get out of Adeline. So the double rare game from our opponent, pretty scary stuff, but we're going to go ahead and burn Rem. We unfortunately can't burn Adeline. That would be an option if Rem didn't prevent the spell damage. But it does not prevent spell damage to itself, so we are killing it. Just get out of here, please and thank you, my friend. And that means we'll have a double striking 3/3 attacker here. Actually, no, that means that we don't have Coven. Well, that's an oops right there. We would have had Coven if we waited to burn the Rem until later. We actually don't have great attacks here then. Yeah, I suppose we just pass. I was definitely going to cast that during our turn before they get to untap and draw, but we should have done it main phase 2 so we could actually still give Search Party Captain a double strike and attack in with that. It trades into Adeline or just kills the Avenger. Ooh, so they're just getting in here, just getting spicy with it. They can only kill one of these cards if we double block. They'll definitely kill Dual Craft Trainer, but it might be worth it to get Adeline off the board. But we could also just take all the damage. Dual Craft Trainer by far our scariest threat right now, so it is a big bummer to get it off the board. Yeah, no, I think I just first strike away the 1/1. That turns Adeline into only a 3-power creature, which means only taking 3 damage instead of 4. Fine by me. Lunarch Veteran is the draw. We'll have 6 mana here. We can play 3 creatures, any 3 creatures of our choice. So I definitely want to get some Candle Grove Witches out. And we don't have any instants or sorceries in hand for Festival Crashers, so I think just Veteran so that we gain the 2 life off the Witches. So Veteran, Witch. And then we'll be attacking with the double striking Search Party Captain for sure. So I guess we'll just go into combat first. Might as well, before they know what's coming up. Might take this trade, might take this damage. Who knows? We'll see. Take the damage, so they take the 4 there. Let's get our Veteran out. Gain 2 life and have quite the wide board, plus the ability to give a flyer double strike every turn and attack with 2 of them. So we're going to hit for 6 a turn here as long as our board state remains the same. Mystic Skull from our opponent, so that is a mana fixer to help them with the red splash. They don't have any black mana out yet, so the Mystic Skull can allow them to cast their cards like Flesh Taker now. Also in the late game, just turns into a big old 5/6 and makes all of their lands perfect. So Mystic Skull could be a big deal later, but it's going to be quite a while before. So for now, they have access to black mana again. And that actually is a problem. Because they could very well have just had a Flesh Taker in hand. Yep, they probably just had that in hand all game. Just didn't have the black mana to get there. Alright, no attacks, Neonates Rush. Pretty nice draw. Definitely a lot better if we had our Rem Karolus, but still good here. They don't have any 1 toughness stuff right now, so I think we're just holding on to it. But we could use it to finish off an Adeline. If they attack in, we just first strike, do an additional damage. Yeah, let's just hold on to it as a great combat trick later. Give one of our flyers double strike and send in the flyers. Holding back plenty blockers here. And I'd even like to get this other Festival Crasher on the board. It plays poorly against a Wrath if they have like Burn Down the House or something. But it gives us better blockers because they have quite a good field of attackers here. If they just clear out Dual Craft Trainer, then it's kind of off to the races for them. So I want to have more protection against that, because it's more likely they just have a removal spell to kill Dual Craft Trainer than that they have a Wrath to kill everything. This is much better against a single targeted removal spell. Alright, so a counter onto Adeline and Sun Gold Sentinel, so those are going to be big attackers now. So, we'll see if one is coming in. If one is, we're going to have to do the Neonates Rush math. Okay, so Adeline's coming in. So Adeline's going to be a 5 toughness creature now, so we don't just win with Neonates Rush. But we can still Neonates Rush, and then we can double block with a couple Festival Crashers, I suppose. We lose our Crashers, but it'd be worth it to get her out of here. I guess we could lose 1 Crasher and a Veteran, because that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Do the 5th damage with Neonates Rush? Actually, yeah. That's better to me, because then we bring this back as a flyer, and another flyer is huge. We've seen how much these flyers are chipping in for. So that is 4 toughness, that's 4 power. That'll be a trade there. Alright, and Cathar Commando is the draw. We can just blow up that Mystic Skull if we really want, but they've already cast their black card. They might not have another, they just cast a white card that turn, so I don't see the purpose in doing that, but if it ever turns into a monstrosity, we certainly will. for now, get another 1-power creature on the board, make definitely sure we are all good on Coven, give our flyer double strike, and send in for 6 in the sky again. And they are dead next turn. Even if they kill Dualcraft Trainer, they'll die next turn because we have the 3-power creature to trigger Coven again to make sure our witches are flying. That'll be 5 flying damage even without double strike. Alright, let's see what they got here. They're going to combat, attacking with Sun Gold Sentinel, Dauntless Avenger. They get to exile a card from a graveyard, they get to bring a card from theirs back and attacking. So, we have lethal even if Dualcraft Trainer dies somehow, so I'm okay putting it in harm's way. So I will be first strike blocking something. Alright, so Sun Gold Sentinel can't be blocked by white cards. So I believe we're going to go ahead and just first strike block the Avenger. Block the Candlegrove Witch with our 1/3. Keep all of our creatures out. We could also just trade with the Candlegrove Witch with the 2/2 and then block the Sentinel to be real safe. I think I'd rather just keep all our creatures here. And take the 4. They do have Flesh Taker to gain life by sacrificing creatures, but they can only gain 2 life. That will not save them as long as Dualcraft Trainer is out. And even if it isn't, it's 5 flying damage. Alright, Candlegrove Witch it is. No mana up, that is just game. So we'll just send in with the flyers here. Close this one out to a crisp 2-0. Alright. Our opponent definitely betrayed by their mana base that round. Some bad beats for our opponent. Flooded out a bit in the first game, and the second one did not get their black source for a little while, so definitely a feels bad there. But over on the winning side, we're happy to have 2 wins to start it off. That means no matter what, getting some decent rewards out of this event. We are at 2 wins. That means a booster pack. 3 booster packs, and a player draft token. We only need 1 more win to be really where it's at, where we get multiple player draft tokens. Let's see how things go here. I guess another thing I didn't consider is you don't actually win any gems by playing this format, or any gold. So it is really expensive to play if you don't immediately use the player draft tokens to start converting the player draft tokens into more gems. So I may have to do only 3 of these because I might just run out of gems. I only have like 3,000 something left, it looked like, which is only enough for 1 more of these. So I guess there's that to consider too, not just time constraints, but gem constraints. It is an expensive format to play, but if you're consistently getting 3-2 wins, you're technically going up in value every time because you're turning 3,000 gems into the equivalent of 3,000 gems. The problem is you're not literally turning it to 3,000 gems, so you can't just run it back without giving Magic Arena some more of your money. Pick up some more gem bundles. Contortionist Troop. It is a 1/1 turn 2. If they get Coven throughout this game, that card is going to combo off as well and start doing some great stuff. So if they get Coven, they start putting a +1/+1 counter on target creature they control. So would I like to Cathar Commando and then just slam Rem, attack for 2 in the sky, and just have a Commando on board, or would I like to just kill that right now and then just slam Rem? Because next turn I'm just playing Rem and attacking with it either way. I'm not going to attack with Cathar Commando if it's out against a 1/1. Although, maybe I will. Maybe I will, because this can get +1/+1 counters later. But not with Ritual of Hope, because Cathar Commando helps with Covenant stuff also. Let's just make the most of our mana. Let's kill that with Sacred Fire. Let's do something right now. And I don't think I want a Cathar Commando. Currently. I just want to play Rem. So we're playing against green and red, and they started off with Contortionist Troop, just great green card in general. But you do have to play around it a bit, get some Coven active. Hound Tamer is the play for turn 3, another card really good at triggering Coven, a 3/3 trample, and they can put +1/+1 counters wherever they want for 4 mana. So they can really manipulate their power toughness all over the board there. So we're definitely going to cast Cathar Commando, but we can wait till their end step to do that. So hit for 2 in the sky again, and just keep getting in there in the sky, I suppose. Oh, that's right. If we wait till their end step to do that, it will flip to nighttime, which means the Untamed Pup will be a 4/4 trample that can put counters on things. We still outrace it if it doesn't have some backup here, so I'll just take it for now, but I actually should have just main phased Cathar Commando to make sure that's still a 3/3. So they do have a 2/2 to back it up. Not super scary. And another 2/2. Alright, well, it's just going to be daytime now, so happy with that. They cast the 2 spells to make it a 3/3 again, so we really only gave them 1 extra damage. So that's all fine and dandy. Not too bad. So Candlegrove Witch will trigger Coven now, which means Ritual of Hope is huge, and the Witch will be able to attack in with flying. But are we going to Ritual of Hope here? Only gives +1 toughness, so I'll still die to a wolf, so nope. Just attack and then main phase 2 our Candlegrove Witch. It's possible that we Ritual of Hope on blocks, because next turn we'll have the 6 mana to Sacred Fire, so we might just want to do that. But it wouldn't be ideal, because we can sneak in a lot of damage with that, especially with 2 flyers out. Oh yeah, we don't have Coven. We have a 2 and a 3. Coven is it's just the best ability. It just showing off to the world that we really are just very bad at math. Very bad at counting. So I mean, I guess we'll just go for these onboard trades, see what kind of combat tricks they have in hand, or if they go for the Hound Tamer ability, and then we'll see if Ritual of Hope makes it particularly good for us. It probably won't. So they're going to go ahead and put a counter on Hound Tamer, so Ritual of Hope makes it so we still trade here. And then we win against Pestilent Wolf. Well, that's good enough for me. I definitely want to kill Hound Tamer. Good enough for me. Ooh, Dual Craft Trainer. Still no Coven, though. But I'd rather get another creature on the board than Sacred Fire something. And I'll hold the 6th Sacred Fire mana, so they might think they'll get a reprieve from it. Doesn't really matter either way. This is not a deck with enough card draw to really care about slamming down every land or holding them. It's kind of whatever you choose. Well, Tovar's Pack Leader is absolutely huge. However, a Reckless Stormseeker during the night, also pretty big. Depending on how the triggers stack, we might be able to get Coven with it, but it's at the beginning of combat. That's also at the beginning of combat, so we won't technically have Coven, because we just have 2s and 3s until this ability resolves. But, I mean, just giving a flyer +2 till end of turn is huge. Just give Rem the flying and attack for 4, because we don't have Coven for the Witch or anything. They're down to 6 now. But Tovalar's Pack Leader's ability, for 4 mana, they can have one of their wolves fight one of our cards, which means they can fight Rem Karolus and just kill it. If they try to fight any of our other cards, they will survive because of Rem's ability. So, I mean, fingers crossed they do that, but I'm almost certain they will just be fighting Rem. Alright, so we're definitely blocking the 2/2s. and then take 9, I guess. But we keep all of our creatures on board. So that Candlegrove Witch might get a Coven flying attack based on what we draw. If we want it. If Rem survives, we have lethal because Sacred Fire does 4. No, it does 3. Never mind. But even doing 3 damage, we'd have lethal if all of our creatures survive here. So if they punt the Pack Leader ability away, I think we just do this. Because we're just going to die in another attack like regardless if Pack Leader just keeps going off. So just try to keep all of our creatures on the board so it's the most likely that we can counterattack for lethal next turn. Because our next turn is the last turn we're going to get no matter how we block. Because they just kill Rem here, and then they know they get to kill everything else next turn, or whatever else they need next turn. Might have the old ways to kill Dualcraft Trainer. And they still have 5 mana up to use Tovolar's Pack Leader's ability and kill Rem. Not good. Immolation on that, and still have the 4 mana up for Pack Leader. So they fight Rem now, and we have nothing left. Pack Leader just closing this game out handedly. Oh no, they pass turn. Okay, if they pass turn, it's daytime. If they pass turn, it's daytime, and they can't fight, and we just hit them for 6. And we hit them for 5? 5 is not 6. Oh no. No! Oh, that's so close. They almost let us have the win in the end there by flipping it to day without fighting something. But not quite. We can hit them to 1 life, but that's as good as we got. Yeah, that's it. And we have no way to survive the next attack because they have 5 attackers, right? So if we attack with Rem here, use Sacred Fire so it doesn't flip to Knights. We have 1 blocker left, which means we block there and take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We take 8, but we're at 7 life, so we die. If I don't attack, or if I Sacred Fire one of their creatures, if I Sacred Fire Pestilent Wolf and attack with Rem, I hit them for 2, and they're at 4 life. They're at 4 life, we have a blocker, and we're at 7 life. We block there, take 6, go to 1. We go to 1 life if we Sacred Fire a Wolf instead of their face. And then we might top deck something like Neonate's Rush, Moonrager Slash. There are outs. And then, yeah, we have to hold back Candlegrove Witch, though. Because we can't just bank on them not trading here. They're definitely going to trade here. If they don't, we win on the spot, but they know we have Sacred Fire Engrave. They're not. There's no way that is something that occurs. Okay. So hit for 2 in the sky, cast a spell this turn so Huntmaster doesn't flip, and also kill one of their attackers so we only take 6 and we're at 7. Yeah, this only adds 1 damage. So it's 3. It puts them to 1, not 0. Alright, so Pestilent Wolf it is. We need them to have no removal here. They are eyeing our Candlegrove Witch handedly. And they just have removal. And unfortunately, Rem doesn't actually stop fight spells because it stops damage the spell deals. The spell makes creatures deal damage. If this said it stopped all non-combat damage, it would stop it, but it technically only stops spell damage. So that was a brutal one. Kind of just got pack leadered. Pretty much any deck is going to get pack leadered if they can't stop it from happening. So I don't think there's much we can really change about our deck to play better against that. It's just a big old massive bomb that's going to come out and kill us pretty much every time. So I'm pretty happy with the deck list against their deck. We're just trying to go under them, get in there faster. There's not much we can do to speed up our deck really here without making it considerably worse in areas. Like we could cut Burn the Accursed and then throw in a Band Post Homestead Courage again, but Burn the Accursed again is just such a good card, and it still does damage to them later in the game, so I think I'm pretty happy with the deck as it is in this matchup. Just definitely unhappy to see a Tovolar's Huntmaster play against. I suppose it all balances out. We've got a Rem they have to play against. All right. So we are on the play here. Both colors, 2 mana. Super solid hand. And a definite keep. Apparently it's dinner time because my stomach is going wild. So turn 1 from our opponent. Thinking about something here. And a forest it is. Lunarch Veteran. Fortunately, not a great draw. Turn 2. That is going to be stranded in our hand for a while. I think I'd rather flash in a Cathar Commando against this deck. If they have any creatures, we're fine trading off Commando for them. They're not really the kind of deck that's going to have a bunch of little 1/1 value creatures. So this way we get in 3 damage if they don't play a creature, and if they do play a creature, we're going to trade either way. Alright, turn 3, Reckless Stormseeker. Get in there, my friend. Just attack for 6. Turn 3. Pretty good for a game of Limited, I would say. And turn 3 from our opponent. Maybe a Hound Tamer. And it is certainly a Hound Tamer. So I'm no longer a huge fan of attacking with the Stormseeker. If we play Lunarch Veteran, we will have Coven. We'll have a 1, a 2, and a 3. So we could play Veteran and Witch. Give the Witch flying and haste, and then attack with Commando and Witch. Pretty dang huge. Commando trades for Hound Tamer, or they take 6 again, going to 8 life. And they do go ahead and trade. So they are down to 11. And the Hound Tamer is off the board. Four mana up from our opponent, and they pass the turn. Stormcharge Slasher is going to flip then, and Dualcraft Trainer for Coven Double Strike could very well close things out real quick here. This could be lethal if they don't have a Moonrager Slash or something like that. Right, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, it's lethal. Lethal if they don't have Slash, and if they do have Slash, they have to just kill our little Lunarch Veteran now. That's why I went for the buff on Veteran instead of Trainer. I guess buff on Trainer would be better because we would be getting the haste damage in. But if I do it this way, this plays... I think this plays better against removal, because now stopping the most damage would be killing our Lunarch Veteran, and really don't care if that dies out of anything. Oh, they just have Plummet. Alright, well, we could have beat them through a Plummet if we played that out differently then, if we had given the Trainer haste. But that way played better against Moonrager Slash for just 3 damage to something. Well, they're at 2 life now. Only 4 mana up here, potentially a 5th land. But it will take a lot to survive here. Let's see what they have. Just the Immolation not going to do it, so they scoop them up game. A real fast victory for us. That is exactly what we're trying to do in this matchup. Just curve out real fast with some high power creatures. Definitely super lucky to get the Stormseeker there, but the turn 2 Commando, pretty sweet. The kind of thing our deck can do a lot. You know, combat tricks are not going to be bad in this matchup, because they have just so many creatures around. And we could lower our curve with them, especially with Festival Crashers, and maybe cheese out a victory with Festival Crashers or Spell Room Painters that way. So maybe that would be the best way to make the deck even faster. And actually, I don't think Lunarch Veteran's that good in this matchup, but it is another creature, and we do want creatures. Voldur and Stinger also, just these little creatures don't super matter. I guess they let us chump block later, give us another turn to maybe kill them with flyers, but could even play Pax Betrayal to steal their pack leader, but think that's still... That's a corner case. That's just when they have the pack leader go for that. You know, Neonate's Rush actually just not very good against them unless we specifically have Rem. Let's cut Neonate's Rush for a Flare of Faith, I think. Or one Pax Betrayal. You know, I'm willing to try things. We do get to scry too when we use this in this matchup, and it might find a win out of nowhere. You know what? It's dumb, but we'll throw in a Pax Betrayal instead of Neonate's Rush. I just don't think Neonate's Rush is going to be good in this matchup. Basically everything else is, though. Everything else seems pretty spicy. You know, Stinger and Veteran probably the next least exciting cards. We'll try the one of Betrayal. All right. I don't like having Pax Betrayal in the opening hand. I also don't like having only one color here, but we do get turn 2 Commando. If that gets an attack in, we get turn 3 Captain, which can help hit the red source. I have mulliganed to 2-land hand before in Best of 3 Limited, and it has played out poorly. That being said, I don't know if this can get there. We're on the draw, so we have time. We have our turn 2 and 3 play. I don't know. I think the conjunction of not having both colors and having Pax Betrayal in the opener makes me want to mulligan this, because this is a really late game card, I think. That's just like trying to be a game ender. Alright, both colors this time. Double Cathar Commando, Lunarch Veteran, Dual Craft Trader. I think we get rid of one Commando so we can still hit Coven, but maybe we get rid of Dual Craft Trader because it's 4 mana and we only have 2 lands available. It's actually tough. Maybe Slash even. Probably not Slash. I don't think it's Veteran either because we curve out well there and it really helps trigger Coven. The 1-3. Actually, no, we won't have Coven. We'll just have 1-3s and 3s. You know, fine, get out of here, Dual Craft Trader. We're not even going to have Coven, even if we make it to 4 mana, which we probably won't soon. Once again, terrible at math. Did not even see that we didn't have a 2 in this hand. Alright, so turn 1 Lunarch Veteran. The first draw is not a land, so far things are looking okay getting rid of our 4 mana card. The only thing that would really bum me out is if we just have 4 lands out on turn 4, but I think that's pretty unlikely. Alright, get in there, 1-1 Lunarch Veteran. Turn 3 from our opponent. We'll see what they play here. Hound Tamer again. Hound Tamers all day long. Contortionist Troop as a 2-2. I think I'll just slam down a Cathar Commando and hopefully hit a land next turn so that I can burn that, hit them for 4, and cast another one. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. That's what I'm interested in. All about this life. We can stay aggressive here, put them down to 15, and play another 3-1. And have a Moonrager Slash held up, so if they just play a 3-3 here, like a Hound Tamer, we can clear that off the board too, and then hit them for even more. But they might just play a couple 2-2s. That would be worse for us. Or a single 2-2 and hold up a fight spell. That is definitely what this is. In which case, I think we just attack in. Don't try to Moonrager Slash. Because a fight spell is just going to be a 1-for-1 trade still. Oh, there's Rem. We could just shut off their fight spell. Yeah, let's get that out here. Yeah, we slam down Rem. They either have to cast their 2-mana fight spell right now and just trade their 2-2 for a 3-1, or it's just not going to work, because if they try to fight their 2-2 into a 2-3, it loses. Oh, wait, no, I literally just went over the fact that the fight spell will still work, even with Rem on the board. That confuses me so much, because the old Boros cards... There was some old Boros card that prevented non-combat damage. I think it's Tazri. Tazri would shut off fight spells back in Ravnica. Oh, it's Plummet. Okay. Well, the 3-1 trades into the 2-2. Plummet gets the Rem, but they are down to 12. with no creatures on board and an immolation to kill commando. All right. No creatures on board again. Okay, we only have a 1/1 on board. This is not as good as I was hoping it would be. We're only dealing 1 damage to them a turn. If we had just a single 3/1 left on this board, our position would be really good. But now they can really just play the long game and just cross their fingers for the Tovolar's Packmaster to come in and really shred my soul. So we have our fingers crossed too. We are just really hoping they don't turn 6 Packmaster, because that would be one quick way to flip this game right around and solidify the win from them. Search Party Captain, an excellent draw for us. Gets another creature on this board, draws us another card, give us some more fuel, and it's another land. Gets us closer to Burn the Accursed for 5 damage. We might be able to stack up and Burn the Accursed on the pack leader if they get that out, but it's only if it ends up in combat. All right, still on 5 mana here. We get to drop down Stormseeker and slam in. Now we're reaching the point where even if they have the pack leader, we can try to get there by just damaging their face with Sacred Fire and Moonrager Slash, but Burn the Accursed on Stormseeker, still getting close. We're still putting them down to 7 life here with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage to the face in hand. Alright, nice Hunt Master, but hopefully it's not going to be enough for them, because Moonrager Slash, Sacred Fire, and Burn the Accursed will close the game out. So if we let it go to nighttime, oh my god, do we just... No, we don't let it go to nighttime because we only have 1 red mana, so we can only cast 1 spell either way. So, I think we Sacred Fire their face in our main phase so that Huntmaster doesn't flip to night. I was considering, like, if we flip to night, then this only costs 1, so 1 mana and a 2 mana, we get to cast both these, and then we draw a land and Burn the Accursed and win. We can't do that. Because we don't have double red. So I think we just Sacred Fire their face here, so that it doesn't flip, and we're also getting closer to the Slash plus Burn the Accursed for lethal range that way. And we just chump block Huntmaster with our veteran. And they'll probably just cast nothing here, so it flips to night, but thanks to the life gain off Sacred Fire, we are really fingers crossed that we get to cast all of these burn spells, because if we get to cast them all, that's the 5 damage right there. 3 more from Slash, either that puts them to 2, and then we either Sacred Fire or Burn the Accursed to finish them off for the final 2. We just need to survive long enough. We need 2 more turns to do it, and we need to draw 1 more land at least. That is not the land yet. That is not the land yet. If we top deck a basic land next turn, then by casting nothing here, we can win next turn. However, playing another creature might be correct, because they can only fight 1 thing. So they fight 1 thing now, fight another thing during their turn, then they just attack for 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Are we just going all in on drawing a basic land here, or we just get a little defensive and play 1 blocker here? I don't think we have much of a choice. I think we have to just hope for that land. And they just kill off the Search Party Captain here, and they can kill the veteran before they attack. Or they just kill the veteran here, okay. And then kill the Search Party Captain next turn. Either way, they kill both. All we need is a basic land next turn. If we don't hit a basic land next turn, we just lose. That is our out here. So Brimstone Vandal. Alright, sure, damages us. They flip between day and night. Alright, super easy chump block here. Do we actually get another turn by chump blocking here? I'd be very excited if we do, because they are allowing us to go for the chump block. So we do this and we take 4. We're at 21. We're at 21. Take 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We have another turn. We have 2 turns to draw a basic land. That's all we need. 1 basic land and 2 turns. Oh my god. My heart is pounding here. Go for it. Moonrager Slash to the face. That's not the land. We can play 2 creatures here, though, which gives us another turn. And we have another turn regardless if we play creatures or not. Oh god. Lunarch Veteran might gain us like 1 life, so we should probably play Lunarch Veteran. Pack Leader gets to kill 2 cards. Oh no, it only gets to kill 1 card because we're going to flip it back to day. We're going to flip it back to daytime here because we're casting 2 spells. Whatever we play is just going to die to Pack Leader, so it really doesn't matter. Let's just play Candlegrove Witch. So our opponent knows they're 2 turns away from dying to a Sacred Fire if we hit 2 lands. But they don't know they're 1 turn away from dying to Burn the Accursed in our hand. That being said, I mean, there's not much they can do to play around it here. They're just going to get as aggressive as possible, deal as much damage to us as possible here. Alright, so we do get a chump block on the 6/6 here, which is nice. If they have an instant speed removal spell in their hand that's big enough to kill their own Huntmaster, I guess they could counter our Burn the Accursed by doing that, but that's so unlikely when it's an 8/8 now. And I feel like that will that'll not occur. I think just if we hit Burn the Accursed, we get there. Alright, is that +2/+2 enough to win here? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. It is not enough. Unless they have another spell in hand? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, they're looking through their stuff. They are looking through their stuff. Please not lethal. Just 1 land, 1 time, deck. Alright. Oh, disgusting. Yeah, we cannot survive here. 4 life now. Yeah, no. 5 attackers, we can have 1 blocker. Even if we could have 2, we'd still be dead. Especially with Menace out. Oh, that is just not gonna get us there. Oh, that was so close. But Tovolar's Huntmaster, just a hell of a card there, going to demolish us. Both of our losses that match. So close to fighting through it that game. Just 1 land away. That is a rough, rough loss there. But no matter what happens, we're 2-1 already. I would really love to get the 3rd win. That is where, as I said before, the value really lies in the draft challenges. So see if we can't get a win this next round here. Alright, both colors. Few cards to play, only 2 to put on the board, but not worth a mulligan in limited. Our opponent seems to have taken at least 1 mulligan here, maybe 2. 2 mulligans on the play, so down to 5 cards on the play. So we are at the advantage this game, at least at the card advantage. Our opponent is playing blue, which is double blue to start off with, and a silver bolt. They can go ahead and kill one of our 3/1s with that, probably. Honestly, our 3/1s are like the best card they can kill for forever in this hand, so we're still just going to run them out and not going to sacrifice to kill that because we'd rather try to sneak in damage. So get that Cathar Commando out. Probably just go ahead and slash the Shady Traveler here. Although a trade for Commando wouldn't be bad. I think I'd rather pressure our opponent. We have a backup removal spell now. Drawing into the Burn the Accursed makes it pretty easy to just slash that. If we didn't draw into Burn the Accursed, I might have just attacked in and hoped that Commando traded in there. And then we'd have the slash for something important later if anything happens. So Hobbling Zombie, because of Death Touch, is going to kill whatever it blocks, but 3/1's about the smallest we're going to have to offer to trade with the zombie regardless. So, might as well get that trade in there. And now we get to flash in a Cathar Commando in the end step here. Our opponent is on blue-black. I guess they have nothing better to do, so they could just kill our Cathar Commando here after we cast it. And that is going to be the choice here. They're like, just might as well. No, not yet. But maybe in the future. They considered it for a long while. Alright, well, attack in, and maybe now is the time. Alright, Ritual of Hope only adds 1 toughness, so it won't save it from this, so this just occurs. And we'll hit for 1. So we have run out of gas here. We ran out of creatures, which gives our opponent the time they need to draw into something here. Firmament Sage is going to be a big one. Anytime it flips from day to night or night to day, they draw a card, so we really need to shut off that effect. I'm just going to burn that outright right now, so they do not have a card draw engine out. We only scry 1 with Play with Fire, so I don't think it's worth just casting to scry 1 here. So there's a Ghoulish Procession from our opponent, so as creatures are dying, they will be getting more Decayed Zombies, but luckily, Decayed Zombies don't help them block at all. So not super worried about that. That is going to be the most important part of this game, is them establishing a defense here, because they are down to 10 now. Still on the back foot. More Krut Behemoth, and they will sacrifice the Decayed Zombie to do that. Alright. Ritual of Hope plus Play with Fire will make Dualcraft Trainer big enough to beat Behemoth without dying. So, I mean, might as well. Yep, that's 4 first striking power plus 2 damage, so 4 first strike against 4 toughness. Just get that off the board and have the mana up for Search Party Captain. Don't mind if I do. Quite the turn for us there. We do have Coven now as well, so we can trigger the double strike. They only have 1 creature that can block, and it's a 3/4. If we give Dualcraft Trainer our 3/3 double strike, it'll trade with that. If we give our 2/2 double strike, it'll also trade with that, so I'd rather give the weaker creature the ability to trade in here. So we get to keep the better one around. And the trade does happen. So they have a lot of zombies over there, but none of them can block. Siege Zombie and Bait Hook Angler can block, though. So our opponent's still drawing some good stuff here. But Sacred Fire, an excellent draw for us, and we have 7. We have the mana to cast it twice. We can just get rid of all their blockers and attack for 4. Seems good enough for me. And we're definitely getting rid of Siege Zombie because it has that good ability. They did tap down the Angler, so I'm not actually concerned about killing it yet. Just kill it to actually shut off a block in the future. So we'll kill it during their end step this time. So they can really send in here. They can attack for 12, but we are at 24 with the ability to gain 2 more life, so still sitting pretty. They are going to pass the turn. Let's shoot down that Angler. Save all of the rest of our mana for potentially playing a 2-power creature if we draw one. Fingers crossed. That would make it lethal next turn. Devious Cover-Up is their draw for the turn here, though. They are definitely drawing the solutions thus far, but not going to be enough to deal with our board state, at least. And Neonate's Rush. Alright, I guess we'll just draw the outs as well. And the 2-power creature to boot. Disgusting top deck from us here. That is just lethal with Double Strike this turn. So our opponent put in a lot of work on the back foot all game there after mulliganing to 5 on the play, so I am very nervous about our opponent's deck because they still had a lot of action there, even at a firm disadvantage starting off that round, so pretty scared of what they're doing. We don't exactly have much to play against them. We have Sun Gold Barrage to kill their 3/4 and their 7/6. Did we see enough cards to want to play Sun Gold Barrage instead of just all of our cheap burn? I don't know. I don't think so, because the fact that the burn can double up and hit their face is so good in this deck. But it's close. Maybe if we lose the next round, that's something we consider going to the third. If we see, you know, a 3/4 and a 7/6 again. But it is always possible that those were just some of their very few big creatures in the deck. They might just have, you know, one of Morcret Behemoth, you know, like 2 Diagraph Colossus. So we're just going to run it back heading into round 2 here. Sideboarding is for people who haven't played 5,000 Premier Drafts and nothing else, like me. Alright, well, both colors, not the greatest curve ever, but some powerful cards later in the game. If we draw well, we could luck sack into a pretty sweet hand. And we're doing alright so far. A turn 1 play is nice here, although we already had Play with Fire to kill the Awakener being a fine play for us. Alright, send in our Stinger. Get in our 1 damage. We can always kill the Awakener when they try to flip it. So, kill it later. But preferably I'd like to kill it before they can even activate the ability, so they can't even draw the card off of it. They're just going to pass the turn here. Well, I do have a 3 mana play, so I'm just going to go ahead and Play with Fire now. So that is very likely to be what we play with Fire. And I am definitely going to be spending all of my mana this turn playing our Loyal Gryph in their end step, because then we get to curve out into Dual Craft Trainer turn 4 with Coven. So let's see if they have Devious Cover up here to counter the Loyal Gryph. If they do, that means they're tapped out for Dual Craft Trainer. Sweet! I think Dual Craft Trainer is definitely more powerful than the Loyal Gryph, but our opponent was in a very bad position there where they had to choose. Thanks to us playing a flash creature, they had to choose without the knowledge of what we could have coming up, so that is always a difficult spot. They definitely played it right, because you never know. Your opponent can sometimes just not even have the turn 5 play, or the turn 4 play to counter. Alright, well, feeling pretty good about this game. We've managed to keep the board clear and keep the pressure on to the point where they're down to 11. And we have the 2-power creature to trigger Coven here if they don't have another counter spell. We're not going to have the mana for Flip the Switch regardless, so I'm actually going to play Lunarch Veteran here, see what happens. It is holding, so they might have the counterspell. Defenestrate on Dual Craft Trainer. Alright, so it doesn't matter regardless. They just killed Dual Craft Trainer. Fair enough. Yeah, I can't do anything like that. Alright, well, I think I'd rather Cathar Commando than Candlegrove Witch, because their board's empty, so get in for more damage that way. Just flash that in the end step here. Morcret Behemoth. Their board is no longer empty. Their board is getting spicy. Alright, well, Candlegrove Witch would have been attacking here. The Cathar Commando will not, though. It is not going to be big enough. I can only buff this once for a 3-power First Striker, not big enough to kill the Behemoth. I'm kind of down for turning the Veteran into a flyer here, if they want to block. Just convert this into something that can actually damage our opponent. Because another Cathar Commando is not very exciting against the 7/6. We have the option of trying to go wide enough, but I'm trying to go to the skies. It's working out thus far. 3-power in the sky here. Ooh, send in the Behemoth? No, they have changed their mind. The Behemoth will not be coming in. Search Party Captain. Search Party Captain makes it tempting to attack with like everybody just to make it only cost 1 mana, because that's cool, but 2 mana is cheap enough. Alright, well, slash in a commando in the end step again, and then we have enough creatures to just slam in with everybody for lethal. Because they block here, they take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No instant speed interaction would mean we just win on the spot here if we attack all. If they do have an instant, the attack's still good for us. Alright, and they scoop them up. No instants in hand, just a bit flooded out there. So that'll be the third match win, which means we are in the money, in the value. 2 player draft tokens and a bunch of packs out of this one. I am going to have a boatload of packs to open in the future because I am playing it very conservatively and very stingy with this set. Wait, why did I get a rare saga? I already have a playset of everything in Kaldheim. They just juked me from 20 gems. They stole it all away. We got bamboozled. I gotta check that. I gotta check that, right? Kaldheim? Kaldheim not collected. No cards. No cards in Kaldheim not collected. And they gave me that. Wow. Anyways, I will be opening the packs after I'm done drafting this format. So I have a gigantic pile of packs. And the reason is because as you draft, you are collecting the set. You're getting a bunch of the rares and mythics from the set, all the commons, uncommons. So then if you open all your packs after you've already collected the set, they just all turn into gems. And since I don't really care about getting all of the cards quickly, I'll just turn them all into gems. Or as many of them into gems as possible. Alright, so we are on the play with an unkeepable hand. It's close though. Greed is good sometimes, but not that good. Ooh, okay, can we mulligan down to 5? Or are we all in on Reckless Stormseeker? That's the question here. My cat is trying to get in the room. She wants to be fed. But it is going to have to wait at least one more round here. Plus, it's not her dinner time, so it's all good. It's not even her dinner time yet. She just gets feisty. 8 planes in the deck of 40 cards. 1 out of 5 chance every draw step. Actually better than that because 7 cards are gone, so it's a 30... Or 6 cards are gone, so it's a 34 card deck, not a 40 card deck, so better than 1 in 5. Oh... I'm gonna keep. It's probably not right, but I'm gonna keep. If we hit a plains, we are the one. Don't weigh a ton. Don't need a gun to get respect up on these streets. Alright, I'm sorry, I don't know where that came from. Alright. This is gonna be a fingers crossed game of Magic, but we have our Reckless Stormseeker at least. We hit lands, just maybe not the white source. Our opponent is on black and white with the turn 2 Candlegrove Witch, turn 3 Arrogant Outlaw, so an aggressive start from them as well. We draw Rem with no white source still. We may get got by our mana base here, but if that's the case, that's kind of just things catching up to us, because our opponents have been gotten by their mana bases as well. Cut Purse finishes off the Slasher, that's fine. We're definitely on the defensive now because we don't even know if we can cast spells. And pretty sure we just lose here now. Just gonna be too late for us. With the good start from the opponent. Well, may have had more of a chance on the Mold of 5, but certainly wouldn't have a big chance there, so... Kind of a predetermined game there, predestined. Yeah, I'm just gonna run it back. We're playing against an aggressive white-black deck. They didn't even look to be specifically a sacrifice deck, just an aggressive deck in general. So, nothing specific to sideboard in. Just hope to draw some better mana this game, and we certainly have at the start here. This is an excellent hand to start with. Turn 1 Silver Bolt from our opponent that can definitely kill our Stormseeker, or our Festival Crasher, or our Rem Karolus. So Silverbolt would be an ability dealing 3 damage to one of our cards, so Rem actually doesn't stop that damage. So we can't even try to cheese them out with that. I'm going to play Stormseeker first, because on an empty board, Stormseeker does more damage, 3 damage every time it attacks instead of 2. Alright, and with a Rem on the board, we'll be able to do enough damage to kill that Morbid Opportunist with our Sacred Fire. Let's get a Rem on the board. Rem is probably going to get Silver Bolted, especially because Morbid Opportunist gets to draw them a card as they kill things. But that means they'll take their turn off just to kill that. We'll still have everything else on our board. We can get rid of the Opportunist with a Burn the Accursed if we hit 1 more mana, even if we don't have a Rem on the board. So, things feel alright this game. This might be the exact reversal of last game. Our opponent is stuck on triple Swamp here. Alright, and they do tap out for the Silver Bolts on Rem. Draw the card off Morbid Opportunist. Is it a land for them? It's another swamp, so no blue source still. Technically didn't cast a spell there, so the Slasher flips. Spellrune Painter comes out as the nighttime version, and we give it +2 Trample Haste. And they just scoop them up here. Gonna be too much for them. So, I mean, looks like we're basically playing Premier Draft here. It's gonna be a best-of-1 match today. Not much of a fight from us game 1, not much of a fight from our opponent game 2. So here it is, the deciding game here. And this is not a keepable hand. I'm not going to run it back like I did the first time. Plus, the first time we had 2 red lands at least, even if we didn't have the white source. We are going to be forced into a mulligan here, but at least we're on the draw, and we hit both colors in the second hand. Definite keep. Don't know when we'll have the mana for burn, so we'll get rid of that. Alright, turn 1 Voldaren Stinger. Start things off. Plenty other creatures to play early game too, so we'll get an aggressive start here, which is nice. In this matchup, would I rather have the flyer or the 3-1? I think, again, all of their early game creatures, I'm okay with trading my 3-1 into them, so I'll just play the 3-1. If they have the early game creature, fine, we trade. If they don't, that's more damage. So here's our Cathar Commando. Might be a Cathar Commando of their own. We'll see. We'll attack in and hold up Ritual of Hope here. No reason to cast something pre-combat. Don't think that Ritual of Hope will really change anything. Alright, just hit for 4, and they're not going to play Cathar Commando yet. Maybe they'll have one in the future. I'm kind of down for just another Cathar Commando here over the Candlegrove Witch. Loyal Griff is the play. Alright, well, we can Moonrager slash that pretty easily as soon as we hit our 3rd land, or if somebody plays a Werewolf card and it goes to nighttime. And we're also very okay trading our 3-1s into a 2-2 flyer. So they're not going to attack. Here's another Cathar Commando from us. 4 mana up from our opponent could definitely have instant speed removal. With Search Party Captain in hand, I like attacking all 3. We might get to cast it for 1 mana, draw another white source, and go ham. And then if they just block the Stinger with the Griff, we can Ritual of Hope here to win that combat. And just attack all here. Depending on how they block, we might Ritual of Hope. This is fine, no ritual required. Just hit for 4. See what they have. Flare of Faith. They are going to give it +2/+2. That turns it into a 4/4. So Ritual of Hope, actually sweet here. Then we'll still kill the Griff and hit them for 4, 5, 6 damage. Probably better than the Search Party Captain here, so we'll go for the Ritual. They are down to 9. 5th land from our opponent. 4 cards in hand. They can definitely cast pretty much anything in their deck, I'd assume. So if they've got more creatures here, now is the time. Covert Cutpurse it is, a 2-1 that comes back as a 2-2 Flying Death Touch from the grave, and a Candlegrove Witch. We do hit the 3rd mana now, so we can kill one of those cards with this. I mean, with this Moonrager Slash, with this, as I mentioned, nothing. I think Stinger just attacks straight up well, so we just attack with Stinger. However they block, we can buff it. If they don't block, then we just slam down Search Party Captain and save our Moonrager Slash. Trying to dig for some lands here with our Captain so we can double up some spells. Ooh, Rem Karolus, the 2-power flying haster when they're at 8 life. That's going to be huge here. Excellent draw from the Search Party Captain. And Crawl from the Cellar, that's going to be good here. That's going to get 2 creatures back from their grave. They only have 1 in the grave right now, but now they're much more freely to just block as they choose here. Plus, they are going to have a flyer out for to block Rem, which is good if they have a combat trick, another one like the Flare of Faith there. If they don't have the combat trick, the flyer's not going to help them too much. All it'll do is chump block, but... So we do have 4 mana here. We can just start slamming in with Rem. I think the only way that that goes poorly is if the 2 cards in hand are Loyal Gryph plus a combat trick, and the combat trick has to cost 2 or less, so it's probably not that. I think we just go for Rem, because if they don't block with Loyal Gryph here, we hit them down to 6 life, then we hit them down to 4 life next turn, and Moonrager Slash is just lethal. Yeah, and they're going to have to tap a bunch of mana to bring back the Cut Purse. I'm actually cool with the attacks on the ground too, just to potentially chip in the extra damage. If these are just straight trades, whatever, that's fine. Like, the worst that can happen is they Loyal Gryph and just pick one back up to recast it. Like, that's whatever. We'll still keep our creature around if they do that. Yeah, this seems spicy to me. Go for this attack here. They do go for the trades, and they are down to 6. Loyal Gryph coming on out. So down to 6 against Moonrager Slash in hand, 2 flying power on the board. They do attack with Loyal Gryph. They have to think long and hard about this one. They're at a low life total. I would love it if they attacked with Loyal Gryph, because then we just kill them with Rem and Moonrager Slash, but it is looking like they're deciding against it here. I guess, yeah, we're not sitting in their seat, so we don't know their thinking here, but it very well could be a situation that I find myself in quite often, where it's like, well, if they have Moonrager Slash, I'm dead either way. So it doesn't really matter. So yeah, they do go for the Loyal Gryph attack, but Arrogant Outlaw in the hand makes that make a ton of sense. The Outlaw gonna deal 2 damage to us and gain them 2 life, most importantly. So they are out of reach of a Moonrager Slash for lethal. And Candle Trap on Voldaren Stinger, not Rem Karolus, because they know that the Stinger attacks it with First Strike, I guess? That one's a little weird to me. I would expect it on the Rem, but this way they can keep attacking with the Loyal Gryph in the sky, and I can't block it, because I'll be attacking with my own card, so I guess that would be the reasoning there. Alright, well, we don't hit for lethal here. We just hit for 2, but we'll hit for lethal next turn pretty easily by playing 2 more creatures here, especially one that will get flying with Coven. So 16 to 6 here. If our opponent gets out of this one, they very well earned it here. They are choked up on mana here. 6 mana available. Crawl from the Cellar would cost 4, so they could do Crawl from the Cellar and play Candlegrove Witch, or Covetous Geist would cost 5, so that would be all they could do there. Play with Fire, a just excellent draw here. We have drawn incredibly all day. Yeah, Moonrager Slash will deal 4 damage to their face, so no matter what gets through, we'll finish them off. So send in all attack here. That's going to end this game unless they have Blessed Defiance for 1 mana to make one of these lifelink. We'll find out here. They do not, so Moonrager Slash 4 damage to our opponent. Going to win us that round. That is going to be our 4th victory, so now we're just going to be rolling in extra booster packs here. We'll see how many, I'm not certain, but 4-1 starting off this as we're going to head into round 6 after this. That is spicy. This has been a really nice aggressive Boros deck. 3 player draft tokens and 10 packs. As you can tell, the part I'm excited about is the player draft tokens, not the packs. The more player draft tokens that I have, the more premier drafts I get to do for cheap in the future. So I'm just living the dream here. 3 player draft tokens. Any more we get? Just more and more gravy. We're just drowning in a bathtub full of gravy here. Alternatively, riding the gravy train, whatever you want to call it. Just having an excellent time. Veteran, Witch, and Commando all playable here. If we hit a red source, we have this, well, one of the 2 strongest cards in our whole deck. I'm gonna keep this. There was a hand a couple hands ago that was a double red, but the same kind of thing. This has a little bit more castable spells immediately, I think. The other one was like we needed to hit a 3rd land to cast Stormseeker, so this is more reasonable than that one. But still concerning. Still a concerning hand to keep, so if you disagree with the keep, I certainly understand. There are big arguments to be made against it, but I prefer the argument for it, which is that the hand is sweet. It'll all be okay. It'll work out fine, I promise. Watch. The mountain turn 3. Alright, not the mountain, but Search Party Captain is going to come out here turn 3 and help us dig for it, so that's fine. Ooh, no trade. Get that 3 damage in. Don't mind if I do. Search Party Captain hits our 4th land, however, it is another Plains. Not ideal, but we still have spells. We can still cast a Candle Grove Witch next turn, so it's not like we're doing nothing. Right, No Way Out, make us discard a red card in the Plains? Sure. Not the worst No Way Out I've played against. Not too painful for us. Could attack with the Lunarch Veteran there so that I could cast Search Party Captain for only 1, so I could cast that and Witch. You know what? That was actually a sweet line that I didn't see that I should have done. But Search Party Captain could still hit the next basic land, and then we still get to cast both. If we're lucky, and it does hit the next basic land. Alright, it all worked out. I actually had the 3rd eye. I knew what was on top of my library, and that's why I didn't attack with Veteran. But yeah, like, we're not losing a lot by just losing Veteran to Siege Zombie, and we're gaining the ability to play Siege Captain and Candle Grove Witch regardless of our draw, which is pretty big when they're down to 11 here, and our board's pretty wide. So 4 mana from our opponent, and an Organ Hoarder it is. We do have Coven, so we can just start shipping in with Candle Grove Witch with flying here. So I think I'll be buffing Candle Grove Witch with the Stormseeker, because I don't want to buff the Stormseeker and have it just trade into Organ Hoarder. We can also buff Lunarch Veteran. That's actually better. Oh my god, they tap out with the Siege Zombie? Do we just kill them then? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Oh yeah. We very much killed them. Alright. They played it real aggressively here, and it is going to backfire on them. That is lethal with the haste. So, we are not going to be able to rely on that in game 2, that is for sure. They are certainly not going to do that again. But, I will absolutely take it. We take those. So we're playing against the blue-black deck. Pretty standard stuff that we saw. Organ Hoarder, Siege Zombie, No Way Out. We don't have anything particularly fantastic against the matchup, and I am bad at sideboarding, so we'll just run it back. We will run it right back here. Oh, wow. And a spicy, spicy hand. We don't get started till turn 3 with this hand, which is a little awkward, but it is excellent otherwise. This is a hand we are incredibly happy to start with. Far from deserving a mulligan. Of course, if we draw one of our 2-mana creatures, we do have 5 in here. Then we're living the absolute dream. Yeah, we have 5 2-mana creatures. Just double checking there. For those who don't know, if you see me like hovering over the left side of the screen and doing nothing, that is me checking my deck list on untapped.gg. Untapped.gg, I highly recommend it. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I just think it is a good app to use while you're playing. Basically, it does the same thing that you would do in paper if you had like your deck list beside you. You could look at your deck list, be like, okay, so I've drawn these cards, cross them out as you draw them so you know what the possibilities are for what you could draw next. Alright, well I like playing with fire on the Strangler before it can attach itself to anything. That seems good to me. And we do draw one of the 2-mana creatures. Ask and you shall receive. Arena is just being so kind to me today. It's kind of insane. Turn 2, Candlegrove Witch. Turn 3, Rem. Turn 4, Dualcraft Trainer. Or Search Party Captain. Either's fine. Alright, locked in the cemetery, so we only get 1 attack out of the Candlegrove Witch, but we still get an attack out of it. So not the worst for us. I don't think we attack with it until we try to get a cost reduction on Search Party Captain, so just keep it around for now. Slap them for 2 with Rem. And a locked in the cemetery on Rem. Okay, so a bunch of locked in the cemetery for our opponent. Sure. Only 2 cards left in their hand here because they have had to use their removal on our threats, and Cathar Commando can blow up the locked in the cemetery and save Rem Karolus here. That's going to be excellent. However, I think it's going to be better on curve to just slam down Dualcraft Trainer. If we could play Search Party Captain and Commando, that might be better, but we can't do that. We can only attack with 1 creature and play this for 3, and we only have 1 mana left. So yeah, we'll just slam down Dualcraft Trainer here while they're tapped out. We know they don't have Flip the Switch or Devious Cover-Up or any of that stuff. Could have a 3rd locked in the cemetery, though. You never know. I guess the thing about locking Dualcraft Trainer in the cemetery is that it'll still put in some work while it's tapped down. Rem, less so. Against blue and black, I doubt they have any spell-based damage. So Siphon Insight, kind of like the Gonti of this set, it lets them draw a card out of our library, 1 card out of our top 3, and they get to do it twice. So if your deck is really good and they start playing Siphon Insight, that's when you can start to get scared, because they might play our own Stormseeker thingy-mabob against us. And then we would be sad. We would certainly be sad. I like going for the double attack here so we can play Search Party Captain and Cathar Commando. Although we don't have the mana to play Commando and blow up Locked in the Cemetery in the same turn by doing that, so it's not the most exciting thing ever. But it still seems good to me, probably better than Spellrune Painter. But Spellrune Painter, we might make things nighttime, which makes the slash cheaper, and then this would be a 3/4 if it's ever night. Not certain here. We have options for sure, and they're pretty cool options. All of them, regardless. You know what? Let's do the thing. Let's curve out here. Search Party Captain and Cathar Commando in conjunction. We won't be attacking with Rem next turn, but we'll attack with it the turn after. And in the meantime, the turn that we're not sacrificing Commando, we just get to bash in with a 3/1. That's not bad. Alright, so no blocks here. They will take 5. Down to 13 life. Let's see what we get with the Search Party Captain. Oh, we do hit the land for Cathar Commando, so I suppose we do get to just make sure Rem can untap if we want. But Cathar Commando actually does do 1 more damage than Rem if it gets through. So maybe we don't want to save Rem. We probably do. Necrosynthesis. I could blow that up if I want. That makes it so whenever another one of their creatures dies, they get a +1/+1 counter on the Siege Zombie. I'm not really worried about it here, so I don't mind. Sacred Fire Cathar Commando. Well, this is be an easy response. Now we will definitely... Oh, wait, no! Rem would have stopped that from working either way. Oh my god, myself and my opponent misplayed. So they did Sacred Fire on our 3/1 so that it would die, but it wouldn't actually die because of Rem. So I didn't realize it wouldn't die, and they didn't realize I could just sacrifice the Commando and save Rem anyway. I mean, maybe they did, but I think that would have that was worse either way. All right, well let's just slash the Siege Zombie now and slam on in here. I think things are looking really good for us. I think this is going to be a potential 2-0. All they have that we know of is Siphon Insight. They draw a card out of their top 3 with Necrosynthesis, but we're bashing in for a lot here. They're dead in 2 turns, and it's gonna take a lot for them to get out of it. I am so bummed about that misplay, because that would have been so sweet if I had realized that. If it's like, oh, that's not even going to kill our Cathar Commando anyway. So I just let that resolve. That being said, we were already considering sacrificing it to throw it on Karolus, so not the largest misplay in the world, but would have been way cooler if I'd actually noticed that. Alright, so another Siphon Insight, but they only have 1 mana up. We got well over 6 damage. We've got a Ritual of Hope too if something happens, but pretty sure this is lethal. And it looks like it is. So we're at 5 wins now. We're just getting all kinds of stuff. The potatoes aren't even delicious anymore because all I can taste is the gravy. That reminds me. I was at a long time ago when I used to play the Pokemon trading card game, the main competitive format there. I had a group of friends that we all played the Pokemon game together. We went to the Pokemon events, and we'd always go to KFC because it was right outside the event place, the game store. And there was one day where my friend, it's just the dumbest story ever, but I thought of it because it was all gravy. My friend just ordered mashed potatoes with no gravy, and what they gave him was a bowl, just the mashed potato bowl, with literally nothing but gravy filled to the brim. So now we have a running joke where it's like, you wanted to do this, but it was all gravy. It was just gravy. Luckily, we were just sitting there eating in the lobby, so he got it replaced real quick, but it was really funny to us. You had to be there. One of those inside joke kind of things. Good time, though. So we're playing against green and blue here. I believe we're 1 win away from the whole 6-win run now. We're at 5 wins, I think. This deck has just been going off. We've got some sick rares in here, so I mean, fair enough, but definitely even better than I thought it would be. We could just slow them down shooting this Archivist down, and I think I'd rather do it with the more expensive removal spell and just hold the cheaper one for later. Just slam in for 3 here, keep the board clear. Sure, they can spend their next turn playing that 2-1 flyer, but we can just get that out of the way as well for only 1 mana. They'll be winning the card advantage game, but we're winning the immediate damage game, which is pretty big. Ooh, okay, so a 4-4, we are no longer doing that. A 4-4 walls us off pretty good. Not really going to mess around with a 4-4 until we have 5 mana to burn the Accursed on it, so let's just get our Dual Craft Trainer out. Like, we could 2-for-1 ourselves, spend our Festival Crasher as a 3-3 to do 3, and our Play with Fire to do 2, and beat it that way, but it seems much worse than just getting Dual Craft Trainer out and trying to set up some much better attacks. Ooh. I'm very happy if they want to try to be on the aggressive here and just crack back at us. Always going to be happy to see that in our hyper-aggressive deck. So, yeah, now we just shred that thing away. We could have Coven if we play a 2-power creature here. If we just play Candlegrove Witch, Dual Craft Trainer can give itself Double Strike to attack for 6, or give Festival Crasher Double Strike to attack for 6. Either way, because we can play with fire at instant speed. That might actually be better, but we still attack with 6. Never mind. We attack for 6 either way, and this way we attack for 6 and guaranteed clear their board. Not clear their board, but mildly hinder their board. We'll save our big double strike attack for next turn. They are still attacking, still feeling aggressive at 9 life there. But maybe they have a lot of blockers coming out here. Rise of the Ants, there you go. A lot of blockers coming out here. Gonna be annoying for us, but we can just get Double Strike and send in a Double Strike and Dual Craft Trainer. Just massively happy with that, whatever happens. Actually, no, because it would trade with the Ants, so we're not really happy about that. So I think we send in Festival Crasher, and then if they double block with the Ants, then we just eat them all up, and if they don't block, then we just shred their life total. And then we try to finish them off with Candlegrove Witch next turn. So go for the double block here so we can get all the Ants out. So I think we've played pretty correctly this game. This is the kind of matchup, green-blue, where they have a ton of flashback cards, so you just know they're going to have card advantage every game. So you really just have to put as much pressure on them as you can, because trying to sit here and make sure that all of our removal spells are trading like 1-for-1 and stuff, they're still going to end up with like a million more cards than us, even if we get a 2-for-1 here or there. So we really need to just try to kill them before they have enough mana to like cast all their flashback stuff, because their decks are slow. As you can see, the Shadow Beast Sighting costs 7, the Rise of the Ants costs 8 to flashback. So they definitely have some slow stuff there. Dawnheart Rejuvenator gains some life, puts a 2-4 out. It's pretty big here. Things are working well for our opponent stabilizing this game. Moonrager Slash is the draw. That is helpful. I think we play Festival Crasher. We trigger Coven here. 3-3 double strike. If they block it with both, we kill both. With Moonrager Slash, we kill both and keep the trainer. I think we double strike the trainer and attack with the trainer and the witch here. Because alternatively, we just deal 4 in the sky guaranteed. We deal 4 in the sky, they're at 8 life, we hit them for 3, they're at 5 life. At 5 life, we hit them for 4 again and 2 from Sacred Fire. We could win if we hit a land if we do that, but I think that this plays better if we don't. If they don't block, we're living the dream. If they do block, we're living the dream. I think this is fine. I guess if they just chump block, it's not super great. Yeah, that actually ends up just okay. They definitely found the best line there. That was certainly the best option they had at their disposal, I think. Alright. 7 mana available because of Dawnheart Rejuvenator. If they hit another land, that's the 8 mana needed to cast Rise of the Ants again, and that might just be too much for us. That'll gain them more life here. We'll take our 4. We'll eat our nasty beans. Oh, Dawnheart Rejuvenator gonna get them there this game. Don't think we can win through a Rise of the Ants. Maybe we can. We can put them down to like 1 blocker here by killing one right now with Moonrager Slash, but then we can't kill another on our next turn. If they only have 1 blocker, attack in, they just block whatever we give double strike, and then we only hit for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's no way we lethal them next turn. If we hit them in the sky with Moonrager Slash, they're down to 9, which hits them for 4, they're down to 5. Really don't get there that way, but that plays better if we try to play the long game, block the 4-4 and live another turn, and then get Dualcraft Trainer to finish them off. I think I'm just Moonrager Slashing the face here. And I actually think we might have been wrong here. It was probably better to give Candlegrove Witch the double strike, because Rejuvenator brought them closer to hitting that Rise of the Ants again. Loyal Grift's a pretty big draw. If it's not the 6th land for Sacred Fire, I mean, it's a dang good draw. So double strike on the Candlegrove Witch, hit for 4, and then just play a Loyal Griff. They're down to 5 life. They take 4 from Witch and 2 from Griff. That's lethal in the sky. If our Dualcraft Trainer sticks around, and of course our Flyers. Alright. Really hoping they just tap out for a Shadow Beast sighting or something here so we know we're safe. We are going to have to block 2 of their creatures to survive, which means we have to throw Dualcraft Trainer on a 3-3 and the Festival Crasher on the 4-4. And just really fingers crossed for them to not have a combat trick, because if they have a combat trick, we're dead. The only way to survive them having a combat trick would be if we cast Loyal Griff and block both Ants and the 4-4. Because then they give like Dawnheart Rejuvenator +3/+3 and just hit us down to 1 life. But then like we survive, but we lose Dual Craft Trainer, because if we blocked in a way where they couldn't kill us by buffing whatever's unblocked, they would just buff whatever Dual Craft Trainer blocked and kill our Dual Craft Trainer. And of course Loyal Griff would die. We have to have Candlegrove Witch and Loyal Griff surviving. I guess Dual Craft Trainer could die, because we can just replace it with another one. So we can put Dual Craft Trainer in harm's way. We definitely can't put Loyal Griff in harm's way. All right, well, this is exactly what I didn't want to happen, because this means we just die to a combat trick. +3/+3 on one of the 3/3s would kill us. We are Fingities Crossedied. This is going to be a very close game, whatever happens now. All right, let's go ahead and take 3, go to 3 life, or die to a combat trick. Oh my god, I needed a 1-power creature on the board for Coven. I needed to pick up our 1/3 with Loyal Griff and then recast it there. Because now we don't have Coven for Dual Craft Trainer. Oh, and they just cast a flyer now anyway, so they can block the Witch. Okay, I guess we didn't have it either way, but now we really don't have it. Oh my god, I totally forgot I just don't have a 1-power creature for Coven now. That is so bad. Oh, good lord. Alright, Loyal Griff says hello. Well, we have the Sacred Fire mana to kill their flyer and put them to 3. Can we live another turn after that? We gain 2, we'll be at 5 life facing 4 attackers. 4 attackers at 5 life. Smaller ones are 2 damage. We can block 2 and take 4. Yeah, we can survive. The odds of it translating into a win are so low at this point. So ideally we have a Festival Crasher in our hand at this point. I'm trying to think through what would happen if we did. Would we play it and go for a double strike kill here? We could play it, give double strike to a flyer, attack with both, they block the double strike, take 2, then we only have 2 blockers still. We only have 2 blockers, block there, take 1, 2, 3, 4, and die. So we'd probably still have to just go with the Sacred Fire line if we had Festival Crasher here. Although I guess we'd have 3 blockers if we cast Dual Craft Trainer as well. I don't know. Let's stop thinking about the hypotheticals. It's strictly better to have put in Festival Crasher in hand, but I'm going to go ahead and move past that in my head and deal with what we actually have available now. Block, take 4, go to 1. I think this is the best option we have available now. And now maybe we can get real lucky and draw super well. Burn the Accursed, Neonate's Rush, those would get there. Rem Karolus, Reckless Stormseeker. Okay, we do have outs. Ritual of Hope. Just 1 more damage gets there. Next turn, we do have outs. But if I lose this game, it's entirely on me, because if we survive past this turn, with a Candlegrove, or not even with a Candlegrove Witch still on board, even if we lose every creature and survive past this turn, if we had Festival Crasher in our hand, the next turn we would play Festival Crasher and Dual Craft Trainer. We'd have Coven, and then we double strike kill with Loyal Griff. So 100% earned this loss here, if it is a loss. Alright, Tovolar is pretty good here. Now they draw a card, even when they hit us. Although now we don't have to lose Dual Craft Trainer, which is something. Or No, we have to lose Candlegrove Witch. All right. I was like, or we block the 4/4, and then we don't have to lose Candlegrove Witch. No, because then we still take 5. We have to lose Candlegrove Witch here, but we don't have to lose Duelcraft Trainer. So we go to 1, or we stop them from drawing a card. I think I'd rather stop them from drawing a card. Yeah, go to 1. Because this makes them draw a card when they hit us with wolves. Alright. What have we got here? They have 5 mana left. Consuming Blob is not a flyer. Oh, that's rough. I earned this loss so hard. We could have cast Festival Crasher this turn. We wouldn't have even needed the Duelcraft Trainer in hand to win here. But yeah, now we can't get Coven. So I completely forgot that I needed Coven that whole time and just forgot to pick up the Festival Crasher there. Just kept the Loyal Grift just in case I had to bounce something else, but that cost us the game here. Super close one. Won by a narrow margin to the point where we would have won if I picked up the Festival Crasher. Alright, well, Sungold Barrages can clear their stuff out pretty well in this matchup. That being said, they still do have all of the late game value in the world, so they're not going to be the greatest. Still 1-for-1ing their cards that are all like 2-for-1s because they come back from the grave. But it's still definitely a thing here. I guess the problem is, what am I getting rid of for these Sungold Barrages? Cards that would make my deck faster? So I don't really know what I get rid of here. I guess Neonate's Rush, probably not great against them. Drop down 1, just bring in 2 Barrages, I suppose, and cut 1 burn. And then Barrage is just a cheaper burn that doesn't damage them, just clears the board. That seems okay to me. Could also cut a Cathar Commando or a Candlegrove Witch, but those were doing pretty well. Actually, Lunarch Veteran doesn't seem super important against them. Sure, it's going to get a chump block out, but I don't think these games are going to be super quick races or anything. It's just like if they're going to win, they're going to take it over with big spells. So I think I get rid of that because the life gain doesn't really matter here. Just the 1/1 status does. Just being able to blow up one of their big blockers is going to be more important, I believe. All right, well, we're starting this game off with a loss, or this match off with a loss, but we have started off a lot of these rounds with a loss and come back from it, so we'll see if we can't do that again here. However, this time could be very much 100% my misplay losing the match for us. Because we 100% could have won that last game. This could have been 1 diamond over here and none over there. Your opponent is definitely making some sideboarding decisions. I think they are getting a little scared of all of our early game aggression. They might be lowering their curve a little bit. They're like, oh god, the deck was pretty fast. Got to get some early defenses against that. Okay. So game 2 now. 1 loss under our belt. I think I have to mulligan this one. And this is keepable. Get rid of the burn. It's not excellent, but we have turn 2 Candlegrove Witch and turn 3 Search Party Captain. That'll get us started. And we'll see if we can't go from there. So the Bait Hook Angler turn 2, actually really good against our deck. We did not see that last game. Just trades off with something and then comes back as a 1/2 flyer. So, yeah, that is super annoying for our deck to deal with. Do you let it trade off here and then just so we can get Search Party Captain out, or do we just cast a Loyal Griff here? The fact that the Witch could get flying later, I think I'm just going to cast the Loyal Griff here. I don't think I slashed that yet, but I might slash it if we have like 3 creatures out and they just have that 1. Like then there's potential value in that. Alright, we're going to take just early game damage every time. So we are the aggressive deck here. Just want to have their creatures tapped so our creatures can get in. Bird and Miyara, a 1/4 reach. That is devastatingly good at blocking. That might have been a sideboard card from them. Just a big old sturdy blocker that can block all of our flying stuff. It's going to be a big deal. Can't block and kill anything we have on board here, which is nice. That means we get to chip in for 2. We could even slash it away, but I don't want to do that unless I could play Captain as well, and I can't. So we just play our Dual Craft Trainer. Make the most of all of our mana there. We also shut off the Bait Hook Angler from attacking in. And there's the Shadow Beast siding for a 4/4 to kind of ruin our day here, slow us down a lot. Play Voldaren's Stinger and we trigger Coven. So then we're flying in. We attack with both of these, give 1 double strike. We have a Moonrager Slash up there still. That's pretty dang good. These are both identical, so it doesn't matter which one we give double strike. Just send them in there. Alright, now we'll go ahead and slash that Bird and Miyara, get their flying blocker out of the way. So we're potentially just hitting them for 6 every turn from now on with those 2 flyers. They're at 14 life, so that is a 3-turn clock if that stays on the board. An Overwhelmed Archivist from our opponent, just the 3/2 here. Draw a card, discard a card. 2 more mana from our opponents. If they attack in with the Bait Hook Angler, we're just going to take it, because if we kill it, even if we kill it with our first striker, it's not exactly good for us, because then they can cast a 1/2 flyer and have something to chump block with at least. So we're just going to let Bait Hook Angler do whatever it wants for as long as it wants. Okay, so we can only buff Stinger once, so we can make it 3 power first striker, so it still doesn't attack into the 4/4 here. Send in the flyers. And a plummet on the Loyal Griff. Fair enough. I suppose we should have been doing it to the Candlegrove Witch, because that's only a temporary flyer, whereas the Loyal Griff's a permanent flyer. So it would be better if they ended up killing the Witch than it would be if they ended up killing the Griff. So, misplay here. What does Search Party Captain give us? Ritual of Hope. That is huge right now, because we do have Coven active, so that could give the whole board +2/+1 for only 2 mana. That's 8 damage in the sky with Flying Double Strike. If that manages to go off. 8 damage in the sky, that puts them to 4. We only have to get 4 damage on the ground, and any of our ground creatures would be hitting for 4 if we cast Ritual of Hope. So if they tap out here, we can very well be going for a Ritual of Hope win out of nowhere. Oh, Winterhorn Blessing. Tap down the Dual Craft Trainer. Interesting. Rather than the potential flyer of Candlegrove Witch. Maybe they have more removal to go around here. Oh yeah, they can flash it back, so they can tap down the Witch as well. Yeah, that's big here. We definitely can't get lethal this turn then. But it doesn't permanently deal with any of the problems on our board, so we can still try to go for the lethal 2 turns from now instead of 1 turn from now. So we don't have to be massively concerned about that. Winterhorn Blessing to tap down Voldaren's Stinger. They are very scared of the pump ability there. Okay, well, some flying damage for us then. We'll take it. I guess they're trying to crack back and find lethal before we kill them. But if they leave 1 blocker back, they block Search Party Captain, we deal 8, 9, 10. If they don't block Search Party Captain when we attack in, we just win. And it's possible they're trying to crack back hardcore, where they want to just keep that on the board. Ooh, burn the accursed. That's just lethal, right? 2 damage there. They're at 10. 1, 2, 3. Oh, wait, no, it's not lethal because I can't cast Ritual of Hope, so which isn't 8 damage anymore. So we can go for the Ritual of Hope to try to get lethal. But if we do that and they take the block, we'll have to like burn the Overwhelmed Archivist. But if we make the attack and they don't like make the block, then we just win. I'm going to go for it. This could be super wrong, but I'm just going for it. Send in the squad. Next. Blocks. Okay, they do make the block, so we're going to have to burn the Accursed on Overwhelmed Archivist to not die on the crackback, because we will not find lethal here. Yeah, because they hit for 9. And they're down to 6 now. Facing this board state with Ritual of Hope in hand, they'll have to give +5 more damage this turn to kill us on the spot. And if they don't kill us on the spot, they're very likely to die next turn. Now they do have the potential to cast a flyer. They can cast the Hook Hunt Drifter because we played the way that we did there, instead of just attacking with Witch. Probably best to have held the 2/2 back. It's the much safer play, and that way they don't get a chump blocker this turn. But, I mean, drawing a Mythic Rare Primal Adversary, maybe they don't even play the chump blocker this turn. Alright, they do play the chump blocker. Flying chump blocker has been established. And Triskaidekaphile, so 2 blockers here, so we know one of our creatures gets through, but that's it. So I actually hope they don't attack here, because even if they attack here, we can't find lethal. We can get close, but we can't find it. But we're in a better position if they don't attack, because then Candlegrove Witch just sends in, gets rid of the Drifter. We go for the lethal the turn after. Alright, super happy about that. And an excellent draw, Candlegrove Witch for us. So just send in this Witch and play another. Okay, so they do make the block here. I was going to say, if they don't block here, then we just win on the spot. They will know about the Ritual of Hope for game 3, but we could very well lose this game by not trying to win that turn if that was the case, so I was absolutely going to slam down Ritual of Hope if they didn't block. Alright. Double Candlegrove Witch is lethal right there if we keep our Coven. So they have Rise of the Ants Engraved, but only 6 mana up, so they can't do that. Primal Adversary just makes a bunch of 3/3s. They have haste, though, which is scary, but they can only make 1 3/3 haste here. So it's not enough to kill us, and we just kill them with Candlegrove Witch if they do that. So they have 1 potential out here. Whatever card this upside down card is, that is the only card that could maybe save them. I guess they could cast Tapping at the Window and try to dig for another flying creature, something like that, as a possibility as well. But even on board, it looks like they have 1, maybe 1.5 outs if Tapping at the Window gets them something. Bird Admirer, alright. The flying blocker. We know that we have Ritual of Hope, so we know we still have lethal. Well, potentially. Depending on how they attack, how they block. Yeah, I guess they could block in a way where they just don't have lethal. Or where we just don't have lethal here. Because we can give everything +2, but if they block the double striking one, then the non-double striking one just hits for 4, they go to 2 life and survive. And if they hold all of their creatures back, none of these get in. If they attack with a single creature, one of these gets in and we hit for lethal. Alright, they don't attack with any creatures. They play it smart here, so we don't have lethal this turn. Never mind. Karolus coming in hot. The greatest top deck in the history of mankind. Multiple games in this event. Karolus, do your thing. And that is not lethal on board, so we will have to cast Ritual of Hope as well. So we are really showing our opponent all of our cards so they know what to play around in the future, but neither of these are particularly cards you can play around super well. You can play around Ritual of Hope so that you don't die early, but our opponent has already been doing that well, so I don't think it's going to affect their play really. But if you're in a position where you're super winning the game either way, and you could show your opponent the super spicy scary card and not, it's better to just not. But these are games we absolutely have to do that to win. So 1-1. Again, I'm very bad at not beating myself up about it. That's one of the things I'm at the worst at. But I'm still just thinking back to we could have 2-0'd this match and just been done with it had I picked up my Festival Crasher in game 1 there. But you know, there are good ways to look back on the games and try and figure out where the misplays are so that you learn for the future. There are bad ways to do it, which is just constantly just beating yourself up for it over and over and being like, that sucks, that could have happened. Like, don't like learn from the past, don't dwell on the past. Definitely a fine line there. But on the bright side, you can always look at it as like, don't think of things, this is another stupid, silly quote that a lot of people say, but like, don't think of them as mistakes, think of them as opportunities to learn. By being in that position and having played that way, I'll more likely remember that kind of thing in the future. I probably still won't, but it's possible that I'll remember that kind of thing in the future and play better at that time. Just learning and growing as a player as you go. So our opponent is going hard into the think tank here. We've put them on their heels. They are scared. They know they could actually lose this. Maybe after the first game they weren't super scared, but now another long chunk of sideboarding here. They're going to make some hefty decisions. I suppose they did take a good while after game 1 as well to make their sideboarding decisions. All right, well, I think I have to mulligan this. We know we play Spellrune Painter. We need specifically a white source to do anything else. Some of our best cards, if we do, Candlegrove Witch and Dualcraft Trainers, but we won't have Coven, just 2s and 3s. Oh god, please. I'm not looking. I'm just going to click the button and not look, and you all have to tell me if it's good. Alright, I'm looking. Oh god, no. Opponent's on the play, so at least we're on the draw here, and if we hit one land, we can cast most of the hand. We can just get rid of Spellrune Painter. Mulliganing to 5 is just so often a death sentence. It would have to be an incredible hand at mulliganing to 5 to beat our opponent's deck. They have quite a good deck there. This is not how we want to end this draft. I don't want to end this draft just getting mana screwed, but I also don't want to end this draft mulliganing to 5. And then potentially still drawing like this exact hand, but now we have to go to 5 cards instead of 6. I'm going to bite the bullet here. This hand is actually like, it's not worse than our first hand in my opinion. I think it's just as bad as our first hand. I'm going to keep it. And this may just be how the draft ends here. Even if we lose to Mana Screw this game, it was still technically due to the Festival Crasher mistake, because we would have been out of this match and done with this match already had I picked up my Festival Crasher. So definitely not going to chalk this one up to bad luck at the end. This match was Lost to some misplays here. And it looks like just punished in the last hand. The mulligan's going to gotta give our opponent the game here. Because if you miss lands when your opponent has werewolves out, you're just giving them nighttime for free. They can still cast spells in their own turn while buffing their board. Just puts you immensely far behind, and that's just it there. Did not draw land. So really sad way to end the draft challenge. Really wanted to try to make it to the 6-win run, but at least the challenges ended due to our own errors and not just some poor luck there. And we can learn from it. So, not gonna be the 6-win run, not gonna make it to the final boss. At the bright side, I get to go feed my cats now. This has been a 3-hour-long chunker of a draft. I hope you all enjoyed that, and if you did, make sure to stick around on my channel for more. You can always like, comment, and subscribe to let the YouTube algorithm know that you're enjoying the videos, and it'll send more in your notification feeds, and that's pretty much it. That's all the shout-outs. We got some exciting things coming up. I'll do probably at least one more of these draft challenges, although I will have to purchase some gems. So maybe, maybe not. I guess it depends on the amount of time I have, because I'll have to have time to do it, plus want to do it enough to spend some gems. So maybe or maybe not doing another midnight challenge, or draft challenge. And then, of course, the end of this week, starting on Friday, we'll have Ravnica drafts coming back, but a special kind of Ravnica draft. You'll draft 1 pack of Guilds of Ravnica, 1 pack of Ravnica Legions, and 1 pack of War of the Spark. Sounds like a really fun, really interesting format. Super pumped for that. And then the week after, we will have the return of the Premier Draft Core Sets, which was another format like that, where you get to draft 1 pack of 2019, 1 pack of 2020, 1 pack of 2021. So some really interesting formats coming up. There are going to be a wide variety of decks to play with and against, because you have not just the 300 cards in a set to draft from, but the 900 cards out of 3 different sets. So there's going to be a lot of variance in those draft formats in terms of the cards you see and play against. So it'll be a nice break from drafting the same set a ton, as we tend to do whenever a new set comes out. As you can tell from the Innistrad draft challenges here, we have been drafting this set a ton previously, and we're drafting it again today. So anyways, those are the shoutouts for the upcoming content, but until then, just stick around. We'll have some more gameplay here and there. Probably another draft challenge. We'll see. Yeah. Thank you all very much for watching, especially if you made it to the end of this massive video, and I'll see you again very soon for some more Magic Arena. Thank you.